What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Alex G.
You put in my name.
No, I said YouTube. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Alex G. And I'm alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we're here to talk about a couple of things. What do we got for today?
I don't like when you do that.
No, we got to get right into the business.
Hold on.
Give the people what they want.
I'm having a pain in my hip.
I don't think that's what they want.
Hold on. I'm trying to pull up something real quick. I have a few things that I wrote down. And I'm trying to find the exact tweet for one of them. But I'll look for it as we talk about other stuff. But, yeah, look, I have a decent amount of stuff. Look, decent amount. So, I know first of all, let me give people a disclaimer because I look kind of crazy right now. My hair is out. You guys never see my natural hair. You say that every week. I know, but this is my first time having my natural hair out on the pod. Taking a break. My hair looks crazy right now, but I'm going to do my twist. My twist outs come out cute. So next week I'll be cute. Ow! I keep having it pains my back. Oh my God. All right. Anyway. We always talk about how we're going to make this the Kanye podcast. But Kanye's always in the news lately. That's the funny part. We're like are like, you know, Kanye fans clearly. And it's just funny because when we started this podcast, that's when Kanye started being back in the news because he really wasn't like on the radar for like years, right? It's been like a year and a half. But of course now he's consistently in the news. So we always kind of end up bringing him up. But there was three topics around Kanye that I wrote down. So one, I guess we could talk about the most recent thing. Well, not really recent, but the biggest one out of all three was Kanye dating Julia Fox. And
we talked about that last week.
No, the pictures coming out that just came out. Because now the second date we didn't talk about because they were on a second date, and all the pictures came out from their date, and it caused a conversation on the internet. If people think that they're really seriously like in a relationship, or if Kanye is do like a whole photo shoot and everything to try to make Kim jealous. What do you think? I personally don't think so, but I do think there is like an underlying. There's always like an underlying thing of trying to make your ex jealous. I feel like that people have initially, but I don't know. And then there's also, you know, people who aren't Kanye fans are like, Kanye's trying to make Julia Fox a Kim. And everybody's like, no, he does this with all his girlfriends. He dresses all his girlfriends. Like, no, Kanye made Kim into who she is fashionably. So when he's doing this with other girlfriends, nothing that we haven't seen before. We've seen it with Amber Rose. We've seen it with Kim, obviously. So the first question, do you think he's trying to make Kim jealous since he literally was just asking her for her back a few weeks ago, or do you think he's moved on? Or both?
How is that any different from her going on SNL?
Because when she went on SNL, she wasn't doing anything with Pete yet.
Didn't they like make out in the skit?
Yeah, that was part of the skit, but I think that's what but I think that's what like led up to the relationship starting. Like they weren't a thing yet. That was just acting. You could act. That's just acting.
No.
But then it led to a relationship.
First of all, Kim Kardashian does not. She shouldn't even be on SNL ever.
Yeah.
In general, it's all a setup. Like all of this is fake entertainment. BS.
Do you think it's all?
Yes,
all
everything
connected?
is all planned. Everything is always a plan.
Because somebody brought up the fact that Julia Fox and Pete Davidson
worked together too.
They had a whole paper magazine like spread together, and that they think that Kanye's going to use Julia Fox to like advertise his Balenciaga Yeezy Gap collab.
Yeah.
Because you notice Kim was wearing all Balenciaga fits for the last like 5-6 months. Like all her fits have been Balenciaga since the Met Gala and around then.
Yeah.
And now Julia Fox is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they say that Kim's probably going to do a Skims campaign. So do you think it's really that deep that all this is that connected? Or do you really think like that, you know, there's only so many people in Hollywood and they just happen to be dating and working with the same type of people?
Julia's not even in Hollywood though. She lives in New York, so.
But she kind of did get in Hollywood with the Uncut Gems thing.
Yeah, but that was such an indie thing. Like you see so many people didn't even know who she was.
That's
even
true.
Still. But I mean more so in the sense everything is calculated. Like there's no way that Julia Fox from New York just happened to have linked up with Kanye West all the way down in Miami.
Yeah. But you think Kanye knew who she was already? Because Kanye knows everybody. It seems like, you know he probably watched Uncut Gems.
Possibly.
And he might have reached out to her. Because like wasn't a whole bunch of celebrities in Miami during that time?
Mm-hmm. It was The New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was New Year's. Oh yeah, our eyebrows passed already. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve.
But around the same time.
And he might have invited her down there though. Like he might have reached out to her, like, hey, you come to my New Year's party. I'll pay for you to fly out. You know, I paid for the flight.
This is everything. I mean, he could have done. I don't know. It's all like when you have brands that are worth billions of dollars, nothing is done accidentally. It's almost like in movies where people notice something, a little subtle thing in a movie, and it's like, oh my God, look at that. It's like, no, the director wanted you to see that. Like, it's put there on purpose. Nothing is done accidentally. Like, everything is on purpose. So this, whatever the move is, I don't care. Like, personally, like, I don't really know what he's going for, what he's trying to do, but everything's calculated. And whether, I wouldn't put it past both of them or all the people involved to be involved in this whole thing.
And then Kim and Kanye are still are gonna get back together at the end of all this.
Or they won't, and they're just using it as a money grab.
Yeah.
Because there might not even be more money in them getting back together.
Somebody on TikTok said that this is a whole campaign called Divorced by Denmark. Because they said they literally are doing a whole campaign about their divorce, literally, like, with the Balenciaga stuff. Because they were saying, like, think about it. Like, Kim with all these Balenciaga fits, it's like, going to be a time in, like, her career, and that's literally going to be highlighted around her divorce. And they're basically doing a whole thing, like, divorce couture. Like.
And he fake married her at the show.
Yeah, and that was weird because I really thought they were going to get back together after that.
Everything is... I personally don't care because I don't feed into it. Like, honestly, realistically, I don't care who Kanye is dating or whatever. Yeah. But it's just always funny when people feed into this stuff because it's like kind of shows you... I hate to be that person that always sounds like the old guy, the grumpy guy in the room.
No, but sometimes you need that. But you need the contrast.
It shows you how stupid people are. Like, or like, not stupid. Let me not say people are stupid, but like, and what you find entertaining to me tells me about your personality a lot. And this is one of those things, like, it's obvious, like, everything is manipulated, not manipulative, it's just marketing. Like, you have a big brand,
but I feel like you think it's everything, because I feel like people think that, and they like analyze everything celebrities do. They were like, oh, Kanye's tweeting, he got an album coming. Like, they'll always do that. Oh,
which always happens.
But do you think sometimes people overanalyze the marketing aspect of celebrities and think everything is a marketing ploy? Not
when the person is generating billions of dollars.
True. Because, like, you know, obviously the whole Travis thing and the impact on Kylie. So not everybody's overanalyzing everything that Kylie's doing and the Kardashians are doing. They're like, do you think it's funny how Penelope and North created their TikToks around, like, right after the Travis thing, and people thinking that was used as a distraction? Like, do you think it's really that deep?
I don't think things like that are, but I think things that are obvious. Like, Kanye is worth what, 10 billion, whatever he's worth. Yeah. He's not like hand selecting this one random girl for no reason and putting her on that platform. Like, everything is like for a reason. He didn't just randomly meet her on New Year's Day. Like,
well, her story said. I don't think he randomly met her. I think he...
That's what she said.
That's what she said, yeah. You know what's funny too? You know how she also said how everybody was cheering him on during the photo shoot? There was like footage that came out and nobody was paying them no mind. No, the people were in there, but they were just eating. They looked annoyed, actually. Like, girl, move. I mean, maybe they were at one point, but she made it sound like the whole time they were like so mesmerized by them. Like,
yeah, Kanye curated a photo shoot. Like, no, you didn't just randomly meet Kanye and then he has a whole hotel room full of clothes that are just majestically your size for you to put on and take pictures in for a magazine spread.
I don't know though. Maybe there is some truth to it. Like, no, maybe he really did like ask her what her size was their first date, and then like have people coordinate everything behind the scenes, like, to really impress her. You know, rich people do everything to try to impress these girls, and they can't. You know.
No. Nah.
I don't know.
Because that's what happens. That's literally what happens every single time. Like that. Like, there's something that happens, and then a product comes out afterwards. Like, there's never been a time where that hasn't happened. Like, even with all like the whole MAGA stuff, then an album was coming out, then a new sneaker was coming out.
But I don't know if he did all that to promote the album, because he kind of like the album kind of came out like the album wasn't really done. You could tell it wasn't finished. Like, it was just, for
me, like
that whole period felt like it actually was a manic episode. Like, all the music, everything felt manic. The music felt manic. The rants felt manic. Everything.
It would be more believable if if he was going to do whatever he does and then a press run doesn't come immediately after.
But what about Donda? Donda, he didn't say a single word. I mean, he had like the the thing. But that's obvious. He had the listening sessions, but that was like a clear cut. Obviously, this is PR for the album. But everything else, there was no other thing surrounding it. Like, I feel like Kanye doesn't need to do that. Like, that's the thing. Like, some other celebrities, like, they say, you know, I never heard of Cuban Doll and Cardi B had beef. Yeah, they've been beefing, which is crazy. Kind of like Cuban Doll is like not even relevant. So Cardi needs to stop giving people these attention. But they had beef, and you know, Cardi B was on the Twitter Spaces talking to fans. I'm like, you have too much money to be doing this, but saying that she's probably doing this because she has music coming. I think she actually does have music coming. Like, okay, that makes sense. Somebody like Cuban Doll has to do that to get attention for her music, you know, because she's not relevant. Kanye, I don't think he needs to do that.
I don't think he needs to either, but he always has. If you want to use the Donda example most recently, then sure.
Then I was different. But you see that he didn't do that. That album got way more attention than Ye. Way more attention than Kids Egos. Maybe. Oh, yeah, definitely. Because that album only had like 7 songs. Way more attention than Jesus is King, you know?
If he went on an arena tour for those things too, they would have been the same thing.
I don't think so, because the songs weren't. I feel like people just didn't connect to the other songs as much. The Jesus is King songs, you could tell Donda was way better produced than Jesus is King and Ye. Like, the music was better in both, right?
Okay.
Still trying to find this one tweet, so I keep scrolling. But I don't know. So do you think that their relationship is authentic? Like, do you think that they actually are forming a relationship? Kanye and Julia Fox. What? I think they might actually be forming something.
I'm not saying it now. I'm looking at you because that's the I don't give a fuck face.
I know, but we had to talk about it. It just happened.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. And do you think he was actually dating Venturia? Because I don't think he was dating her, right? But people were saying that they really was the thing and she was living there.
But who's saying that?
People.
Who's people? Like, who is Kim? Because they were just saying that Kanye was like, because any story could come out and it's just like taking its truth, right? Like, they just put out the story. People saw that picture of the person in the bushes and they said it was Kanye, and then everybody thought it was Kanye.
Yeah. But that picture looks so fake.
Or the story about like
him moving across the street,
because there's no refuting anything. Nobody does any background research on anything. Like, there's the headline and it's like, okay, did you see that this happened? It's like, well, you don't know if that happened.
And
like,
everybody's just speaking like we don't even know that Kanye actually moved across the street. Where's the proof?
And you don't know that the girl was living in the house, because how would Kim even know that necessarily? Like,
I think someone said like there was some picture that she took that people were analyzing that was like that they could tell it was the same house. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel that would have been big news. That would have been all over the shade room. They have concrete proof. That stuff would be everywhere. So they just talking, because that's the thing. If there was concrete proof of anything that Kanye has done that they're speculating, that would be everywhere. And
Kanye's never been the type as outspoken as he is. He's never come out and been like, he's never refuted anything.
He probably just laughed. I would laugh too if I was rich, billionaire.
Yeah, he never like, oh, this didn't happen, this happened, but other people do that.
Yeah.
Like Aisha Curry just finally said something about the whole open marriage accusations. Like, Kanye's not gonna come out and say things like that.
If anything, he'll say in his music.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You know, good for them. You know, hopefully it leads to a good show, good music. That's all I care about.
Yeah, and I'm interested too, because remember I heard somewhere Kanye said it himself, but I didn't see the actual clip. But it was like the paparazzi when him and Julia Fox were coming out of that Carbone restaurant, which we need to go to, by the way. I'm gonna try it. It looks good. It's only $2 signs. I was like, wow, I thought it was gonna be like the $4 signs. Like, you know how you see on the
only $2 signs.
No, I'm saying like that's nothing for that to be a celebrity hotspot, and the food is like because it's cheap. But there was like paparazzi, like, you know, obviously outside the restaurant, and they asked him if he's having an event at Madison Square Garden. He said this month. I'm like, all right, the month is almost half over, so I wonder what he's planning on doing, and it makes me wonder if it's going to be maybe the Yeezy Gap Balenciaga collab, like maybe a show for that.
Yep.
You think so? Probably, right? Because they just announced it officially, and he's been posting a whole bunch of stuff about it on his story, so probably. You think it's going to be open to the public?
Probably not. In the sense that
Pablo
you won't be able to.
Was the St. Pablo listening party open to the public?
I don't believe so.
Right? Then I feel that was all people, close people too. But I don't know, because that stadium was packed out. It might be.
But if you know somebody, then you know somebody, then you know somebody, then everybody gets in there. I don't believe it was, but it might have been. I feel like if it was, we would have went.
All right. But maybe not though. We was in college and we had responsibilities. We had.
Yeah, but we just went to the
show,
that was prior to.
Yeah, that was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show was during the week too, right? It was like a Thursday or something.
No, it was after class. Tuesday. No. Was that? No, Travis's was on Saturday. It was like a Tuesday. Yeah. That we went. I think it was like.
I remember saying like I have class.
Yeah. September.
So it makes me wonder if he does have like a fashion show, if it's gonna be during the week for that night. I mean, I don't know if it's open to the public. Would you go?
I do always struggle with those things because it's like.
Because
it's almost like the whole like influencer thing. It's like you're going for.
Nah, if I went, obviously I would take a pic, but I'm going to see him again because we've seen him in person before, and I'm going to see him in person again and be there. But then again, COVID is bad right now.
I don't care about that. For me, honestly, if I knew I wasn't going to get an opportunity to give him music, I wouldn't go. Like, I don't particularly kind of like... I don't know. Like, I'm okay with... Like, if I didn't go to any of those Donda shows, which we didn't go, like, I was fine sitting at home and watching it.
Yeah. Like, it was cool watching it at home, honestly. I mean, I'm sure it was cool to watch it in person, too, but I liked watching it at home. I didn't mind.
Especially all the people that go to these things are all cornballs anyway. Like, I just don't want to be around that energy.
I know. And it's always the corny people. And a lot of times, like, unfortunately, people with money are corny.
We were... Well, to some degree, we were like that when we went. Sounds like aliens.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? It's literally like, it's somebody racing, right? Like, I was really getting scared. But I mean...
We were dressed nasty.
Yeah, was funny, everybody dressed like that.
I know,
at that time.
That was funny.
The thing is now, what differentiates things now is that, like back then, that was the style. Now people are still dressing like that, and everybody else has been moved on. So then you could really point out the cornballs now. The people who wear V-Lone, people who wear basically any of those brands, right? Like Supreme, I don't that doesn't count to me, but any of those brands, like, you know what I mean, like Obey. Do people still wear Obey?
Obey, oh god.
Yeah, right. That was a way back flashback. That was like 2014.
No, it was just V-Lone and...
No, but like V-Lone, what else? Billionaires Club, what's that thing? Billionaires Boys Club. It's like all this stuff that's like cheap now. That people who think they like lit now that they wear. You like Billionaires Boys Club?
I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would call it cheap.
I mean, it's inexpensive. The tees are like $50. And I'm just saying it's all kind of like bucketed into that same.
Just anything that
everybody
sells.
Who's wearing it now, because like it's not right now. It's not hot, if you want to say the word hot. Like it's not. It was like in 2015, 14, like all that stuff. But it's like now, if you're wearing it, you could tell people who are wearing it now are now able just to afford it at the resale price, which is a lot lower than it was retail. That's what I mean, And you could just tell. Like this is like if you look like you just came out of 2017, 2018, like you're a cornball in my opinion. Because like it's not even like you really like that style. I feel like it's like you feel like now you're late to it, and now you feel like you're like lit.
I do understand what you're saying, but also remember to watch how you say that, because chasing what other people are wearing, because you're saying that somebody looks like 2021 to me, you might even more be more a cornball.
No, but like, okay.
No, I know what you're saying. I was just saying,
you could just tell the people who want to dress like that back then, but they couldn't, and now they can. Now they kind of got a little money. Like, I'm not talking about really following trends, because I feel like how like I dress, I don't feel like I'm following a trend the way I dress. I just feel like I dress the way I want to dress. But you could tell the people who, they wear the V-Lone, they constantly have their back turned. They're not wearing V-Lone because they want to. They're wearing it because they feel like it's saying something. Like, you could just tell when people are wearing something because they want to, and when they're wearing it to try to say something. Like, you could just tell. Because then you ask them questions about like certain brands they don't even know. You'd be like, who made this? Who's the founder? Like, they don't know those answers. They're just wearing them because they feel like society's telling that they're cool now that they got it, You know what I mean? You could just tell. Because you could see somebody wearing like a V-Lone shirt and they dress it a certain way. And like, no, the back might even be covered. And they might just have it layered in some certain way. And it's like, okay, they might be wearing it because they want to. But then you could tell somebody who's wearing that with the black ripped jeans and dunks. Because that's the thing everybody's wearing now. Dunk lows.
Just nasty times.
But yeah, I know what you mean though. You don't want to be mixed into that. You don't want to go to those events and that's who you sit next to. You rather go to those events and be a part of the show.
Yeah, like, right. I always told you, be a part of the show,
or be a part of like the entourage that's like in the front. away from all of that.
Because I'm trying to do music. Like we were just watching Turbo's vlog, and he was backstage at the Gunna show, and then he with Kodak, and then he's with so and so. Like that's ideally what I want, because I don't want to be like. If you want the energy of being in the crowd, then be in the crowd. Because like you see, like Lil Yachty does that sometimes. He'll just be in the crowd, but like ideally, I'd rather not.
Yeah. And but still have like still be there for like in the energy. You still could get the energy on the being on like the lower part.
Because to be honest, obviously seeing Kanye perform is important.
Yeah. And I want to see it one more time.
But for the most part, my whole desire to go would mostly just be to be like, oh, I was like there.
For me, it's both though, because it's like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I was there. Of course, that's why I said, yeah, I'll take a pic. But also, like, I just want to be there for that iconic moment. Like, that's like going to be a moment in his history. Like, that's, kind of a big deal, I guess. He's like, you literally collabing with, like, you're collabing Gap and Balenciaga. Like, that's who's done that. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I'll be there for both. Obviously, you want to be there to say you were there, but also you want to be there to witness it. Like, to be like, I could, you could see the collection. You could see Kanye. Like, you could just be, in there.
Yeah, maybe I'm boring. Because I don't even think that it's to my understanding and based off of what I was reading in the actual like documents itself, it's not even so much a collab. It's not like Gap X Balenciaga.
Yeah.
It's just Demna basically making Gap clothes.
So all those fits that you think Kim was wearing was part of that collab?
Probably not. I don't think, because that documentation I think was just recently signed.
Yeah, and I was thinking too. I mean, maybe they've already been working with Balenciaga though. Like they obviously have a clear Kanye and Kim. They have a clear like loyalty to them. Like every time there's always footage coming out lately, Kanye in the Balenciaga store and him leaving the store with like 6 bags of Balenciaga while his whole fit is Balenciaga. Like there's something. Let me see if I can find this too.
He's just cool with Demna. He's been cool with Demna for years.
And probably Kim too. No, but like,
by association.
I don't know if you've seen, like, it's literally been like a streak. Like,
no, I know that.
Even when she went to the SNL show, like she was literally wearing like Yeezy Gap and Balenciaga.
By association.
Like but this whole fit was Balenciaga.
Like if there was no Kanye, obviously she wouldn't know Demna.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I think like that's what they're saying. Like her Denma era. Like I think there is some type of thing now. Like with her and Balenciaga. Like, all this was Balenciaga. Like, obviously her Met Gala fit was Balenciaga. Like, she's just been, like, back to back to back Balenciaga looks for, like, the last, like, 4 months. But, yeah. But, so you think it's just going to be, like, you said Balenciaga, like, Denma designing Gap?
Yeah, it said Gap clothing engineered by Balenciaga. So I just think that, I don't even know what Kanye's involvement really is, but I just think that Kanye bridged the gap between the two, no pun intended. And Demna's just going to make hoodies and whatnot on behalf of Yeezy, if that makes sense. Like, he's going to take the blank Yeezy hoodies that came out and just make them...
Yeah. Say something.
Balenciaga.
So maybe it won't be a thing show, a fashion show.
It could be, but I'm like 99% sure it's not like Balenciaga branded Gap clothing. Like I'm pretty sure that's not what it is. I don't even think that Balenciaga is necessarily even. I have to look into it, but I don't think that it's like a Balenciaga like. You're not gonna get like a Gap hoodie that says Balenciaga on it for $40. Like I don't think that's what's happening.
No. I don't think that was happening either. It's still gonna be expensive.
I think it's just gonna be designed with the cuts and the way the oversized fits and stuff like that.
I don't know if I agree with that thing. Kind of low key now to think about it. Like it's cool. I'm happy for Kanye, but it's like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird when they transform like everyday wear or like cheap wear to like designer. Like why are you making Gap into like designer,
That's why I hate it with the Margiela H&M collab. They're like, I think there was the Alexander Wang H&M collab. Any of the H&M collabs were horrible.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It's just weird. But at least that stuff was cheap.
Like even because then it begs the question, it brings in the whole concept of business and clothing because like Jill Sander has like a long running relationship with Uniqlo, where she makes a lot of like affordable clothing, but with Uniqlo prices. So if like you're designing it, it's your brand, and you're just releasing it via the store.
Yeah, why is it so much cheaper?
Why are you charging me 5, 6, 7 times less than when I buy it on your store? Yeah. So it's like kind of like an interesting thing.
Yeah,
but we know that. Like everybody should know that. Like they're charging you $400 for a t-shirt. There's only so many different types of cotton that you could make in the world, so it's all gonna end up being the same stuff.
The thing is, at least you could do a comparison. Though. If you buy like the H&M version and then you buy like their version, you could make the comparison between material and then make that own decision if you feel like you're paying the right price.
But when it comes to like t-shirts, it's like
t-shirts is only so like, much you could do.
Or like even hoodies. It's not like these fashion places are using. They may use different methods of like stitching and sewing because
some hoodies feel horrible.
You could do like reverse weave is a popular one that Champion does. Like there's different forms of stitching it that makes it feel different, even though all of it's made out of cotton and the same type of cotton.
But like even I think I told this before. Like even like my Supreme
hoodies are different.
No, but like it's not for me. It's not comfortable.
It's very thick.
It's like thick, but it's not even warm. Like that hoodie that you made with the Kalos on it was soft. Like I don't know what type of hoodie it was, but it was so soft on the inside. But then my Supreme one feels like stiff.
It's because it's
heavy, but it's stiff.
Yeah, on the inside it's
not warm.
It's what they put on the inside.
I don't like it. That's why I don't even wear that anymore. I might sell it. I only kept it as a box logo, and I still feel like hype that I got it, but I don't know. I don't wear it anymore. But yeah. So since we're talking about fashion, the last thing with Kanye, well, second to last thing I had, a lot of things is like short, but I had this is kind of obvious, but like is Kanye a trendsetter? And I was gonna talk about because how everybody's wearing those crack boots now. Like I keep seeing them everywhere now.
Why is this a question?
Because obviously it's like kind of a rhetorical question. Obviously the answer is yes, but it's just funny because like people were clowning them, you know. And now that Cardi B has wore them and a few other little celebrities, now everybody's it's like talking about they want them now. And I just feel like it's like the same repeated cycle. It's Kanye's getting out of his mind. These are whack. Now one person wears it and now everybody wants them. Prison slides. Everybody brought these slides now. Alien shoes, like, you know, the things like his like slides that look like all like tree branches basically. Everybody wants them now. I'm buying them. SpongeBob boots. He was wearing the squeaky boots. Even though those were another pair though. Those were another pair that I think they were talking about. Those bigger ones that look like really water boots. But people still say the same thing about the Balenciaga Crocs boots. So, like, why do you think it's this repeated cycle of people clowning on Kanye and then some celebrity that likes to wear them and everybody wears them? Do you think it's because people feel like it's so much easier to get clicks and likes off of clowning Kanye? And that when a celebrity that everybody kind of mutually likes wears it, then they like it?
I'm going to break it down for you. Try not to jump in here.
I won't.
So, for one, people are... one is obvious. You're likely to get retweets for clowning somebody that has a history of being clowned for something, even if it's not something clown worthy. So Kanye has done some things and backlash has happened, and now, you know, with the MAGA hats and stuff like that. So now it's easy to get retweets and have people agree with you because that's what people want. Like, even if they don't necessarily even agree with what they're saying, if they get retweets and likes, then they feel happy about their life and they accomplish something for the day. So that's one. Two, people are way too reactionary. People want to react so quickly to everything that happens all the time because we have like a TikTok with an infinite scroll feed and everything is, I need to speak on my opinion on this thing right this very second so everybody knows, and they don't sit with anything. Like, if you speak on something and give your opinion on something that just happened, within 30 seconds of it happening and from you seeing it, you didn't even take the time to think about what is going on. So your first reaction is to be like, what are these? Just because that's just your first reaction. You didn't sit with it. You didn't try to understand it. You didn't see what it is. You really just don't know what's going on. And your first reaction is negative, or whatever it is. Just like Chris Brown, like that artificial sun video, which was fake. And I'm pretty sure that's an old video anyway, because I'm pretty sure I saw that video like years ago. he responded to it. No looking into any information. No, not really trying to even understand what the video is or what's going on. Automatically, blah, 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 negative, negative. Oh, it's getting crazy out here. It's like you don't even know what you're looking at. You're not even trying to comprehend what you're looking at. Yeah. You just want to get your thought out there as fast as possible because you want to get as many retweets as possible. It's just like,
even like, sorry to interrupt, but like in the shade room, every time someone dies, people are like, 2022 not playing fair already. I'm like, people die every day. Like, I know that sounds insensitive, but it's like the year just started. Like, people are gonna die every year. So are you gonna say this every year? 2023 ain't playing fair. 2024 bad already. Like, people are gonna die every year. Like, that's not. I feel that's a bad way to live life, to think every year is bad because somebody that you don't know died.
Also, just real quick before I get back into the other thing, we live in an era where there's way more celebrities. Like back in the day when you were a celebrity, you were really a celebrity because there weren't a lot of them. If you're on TV, you had one actor, one actress doing mad different movies and shows, and there weren't as many singers. I could make a beat right now and go platinum tomorrow, just from uploading.
And now everybody knows you.
And now I'm a notable person, and now if I die, people are gonna be like retweeting. Oh my god, he just RP. There's so many people
getting in his foot in the door.
How many different dolls are there? There's like 100 different dolls. These people you wouldn't have even heard from even 5 years ago. So when these people die, obviously it's gonna happen a lot more. You're gonna be seeing a lot more deaths just because there's more notable people because of social media. But anyway, so people are really reactionary to things. People don't really know what they like. And they just like things that other people wear because there's a societal pressure to fit in, or that you're gonna be clowned if you're not wearing this thing and not wearing that thing. So once you see other people wearing it that are notable, or if you just see more people wearing it in general, then you'll feel accepted and then you'll be willing to do it. Crocs are the biggest example. We used to clown Crocs. Crocs are, to me,
ugly
in shower shoes. But once people...
I'm still not wearing them. Not that they're trendy. I have the Soleil Bembury Crocs. They look nice.
Once people started wearing Crocs, then it became generally acceptable to be like, okay, cool, I can wear Crocs now. So now everybody feels okay to wear Crocs. And so it's generally accepted. Same with
Once Nicki wore them, that was the big boom.
Same with the Yeezys. Nobody wanted Yeezys. Everybody was saying these are the worst, ugliest shoes, even though they're just a Roche ripoff. And then once the whole boom happened in like 2017-ish era or whatever, it was 2016, whatever it was, then it became generally acceptable to wear them because people were getting popping wearing them. Kylie was wearing them everywhere. Then everybody started wearing them. So
Kylie was a smart marketing ploy.
It was the peer pressures of trying to be quote unquote cool. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Really, it's a lot of self-esteem issues. Really,
it really is. Cause like, have a mind of your own. Like what you like. Like for me, the Kanye shoes that look like, they kind of look like the Soleil Bembury Crocs a little bit. I prefer the Soleil Bembury look. Like, I don't like the other one. I would never wear them. Obviously I'm a huge Kanye fan, and even when they got trendy, I would never wear them. The Balenciaga Croc boots, ugly. I don't care. Like, they look stupid. I don't like them. I didn't like them on Kanye. I don't like them on Cardi B. I don't like them on anybody. Like, that's just my opinion. But people, like you said, it's like an insecure thing. Like, they're so insecure that now they like them. Like, literally everybody's flexing those boots. Every little Instagram model, I go on their story and they got the boots. I'm like, what is going on? Well, I thought we all said they were ugly a few months ago when Kanye wore them.
The famous people probably don't say any of these things because
they actually like them.
Or and
their stylists.
They can get them.
Yeah, and they can get them.
Anybody else that can't get them, it's not really for them.
That's another conversation too. I feel like people call things ugly because they know they can't afford them, but if they could afford them, they would buy it.
Yeah, because the only thing stopping a lot of people from doing a lot of things is money.
Yeah.
Because who you are as a person, in my opinion, is how you behave when you have money.
Yeah. That's who you really are.
That's really who you are. Because all that, like, oh, billionaires tax them, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You would have a whole different energy.
Or if I had that money, I would donate in homelessness. Then let's see you do it when you become a billionaire. I'll be waiting.
I know. Or like things are ugly, or this car, like, $1 million for a car is
people
too expensive.
Clowning Teslas.
It's like,
and Teslas aren't not even expensive. Like, they're expensive, but they're not like that expensive.
It's like, all right. And it's not that people aren't allowed to have an opinion just because they don't have money, but it's, you just know.
You know what is rooted in for a lot of people.
Yeah. Because the second they get like a Jordan, then it's like, then Just like, Jordans were like the hood,
Yeah.
the hood Gucci. Well, Gucci was the hood Gucci, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, like it was like once you like get it, then now you like it.
Yeah, Jordans on a Saturday. It used to
That's
be.
why I made a tweet the other day. I'm like, I hate that people found out what Ramones were because I hate people's 2 cents about them. They're like, you have to pay all this money for an expensive Converse.
Yes.
Yeah, $700 is not even a quarter of my check. So yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Like, wait, did I do that math wrong? I'm not telling people what I make. Anyway, but it's like $700 for me is nothing. Like my bills every month are like almost $3,000. They probably are over $3,000 a month I pay in bills. You think I'm flinching over $700 shoes? Like clearly I could afford them and I want them. Like Ramon's been out for years. You just found out about the shoe. Now you want to clown them on Twitter. But you didn't even know what the shoes were. But then you want to make tweets about like you're into fashion. No, you're not, because why are you clowning the shoe? That's fashionable. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. But if you're into fashion, you will respect the art and move on, right? Like people act like they're such these fashionistas, but then they want to clown stuff because they can't afford it. But it's like, what are you wearing? Like your fits don't match your energy that you're giving off, like at all. Like you go to their page and they're literally wearing like Fashion Nova everything. The most driest fits I've ever seen in my life. But they want to give their 2 cents about a shoe that they didn't know existed a year ago. When the shoe's been around how long? You're better knowledgeable in Rick Owens than I am. Like 10 years?
Maybe over 10 years.
Same with Bottega. Bottega's been out since 1966. But everybody's a fashion expert now. I just don't get it.
Was it 66?
It was 66.
I was thinking it was 58.
No, it was 66. I think you could it might be 68.
No. I think the
brand might have been out before.
No. I think it was 66 when it was actually established as a real thing.
Yeah, like maybe like the trademark or whatever.
But 58 was when, or maybe it was somewhere in the 50s when they started.
It just irks my soul though, because like there was this one girl who said she wanted them, but she said she couldn't afford them, so she got the Converses, and she was she was honest. She's like, I really want them, but I can't afford them. I'm just gonna wear these for now. Like I still kind of get the look I want for. And I'm like, that's cool. That's good because not all of us got the money for that. I get it. But then there's the people who just want to be bitter. But then those same people are literally trying to make money. Like you're literally working right now to try to make that 6-figure salary or make that money. But you want to clown people for what they decide to put on their feet. Like that's weird. It's weird. Like, I just wish people didn't know about the shoes. Like I'm so mad that Rick Owens is becoming like a household name now. It's just very annoying. At least they're not touching Raph yet. I know that's your brand.
Raph is not my brand. Helmet Lang is my brand.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Helmet Lang's your favorite brand, but I'm saying like you still like Raph.
But even all that stuff is touched too. It's just like
I'm glad Helmet Lang is not a household name. Oh my god, if it becomes one, it's not really that household. Like a lot of people, like people don't wear it because no one really calls it out in songs.
That's because it's not expensive enough.
Yeah, it's not.
Well.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. It can be.
It can be.
Depending on what you're buying. Like, obviously, the graphics stuff is not.
But once people say it, like, because Travis, when he was doing that whole Helmet Lang wave, wasn't as popping as he is now. Like, that was like, he did the Huncho Jack thing.
That's why you know I'm annoying. I like to put my lyrics on my Instagram story. Like, if I'm wearing something that's like Helmet Lang, I'll try to find lyrics. I only found that one song. It was like, Helmet Lang, I'm in my lane. That wasn't like a popular song. So. Please, guys, don't go to Helmet Lang. Like, please, celebrities don't say nothing about it because, like, that will really frustrate me. Like, I don't know why I get annoyed by it, but what annoys me is just people acting like they're experts on something they don't know about. Like, be yourself. If you're not really into that stuff, don't be into it just because everyone else is into it now. Like, just be yourself. But everybody wants to pretend there's something that they're not, and it's, like, annoying. Because, like, for me, I was just telling my mom this on the phone. I'm like, you can look back at my pictures my whole life. I've always been me. I've always been into fashion. It's clear. I literally have stretched ear holes by now because I had a phase where I wanted big, crazy earrings. And people used to literally clown my fits and squikes. They always talked about me, whispered, made fun of me when I was wearing camel pants. Now, everybody's wearing camel pants now, but when I was wearing them 11 years ago, it was whispers in my homeroom class. Like, I still remember that. I had a bob haircut, whispers. I was doing me. I had my own style, wearing whatever I wanted. You could tell I've always been into fashion. You could literally see it. It's all evidence. You look at other people and they all dressing the same. I never had a Hollister Aeropostale. Well, I had an Aeropostale phase, but I never had a Hollister American Eagle phase because that wasn't me. I had a little mini Aeropostale phase when I didn't know myself. After that, I wasn't wearing none of that stuff in high school. I didn't wear no American Eagle or Hollister, none of that. Everybody has the same fit. You look back then, you look back at those pictures, everybody dresses exactly the same. That wasn't me. So you could tell I really was into it. Like, I hate when people act like they're into it. Like, you wasn't into it. And you could change. We all could have changed and evolved. But it frustrates me as somebody who's always been into clothes and fashion and my personal brand. So stop tweeting about $700 shoes just because you can't afford them. Because it just makes me mad. It makes me mad. You know? Like, even your style, like when I first met you, like, it was still your own. Like, there was still something about it that was different, you know? Like, the way you had it. And you've always been into shoes. Like, people could look, and you've always had the shoes. Like, no one could ever check you about shoes. Because you've had every freaking type. And you've had probably almost like 60% Jordan. Okay, maybe not 60%. But you've had, like, a lot of shoes, you know? Like, no one could ever check you on that. And that's how I feel.
I personally don't care.
Yeah, but you different than me. Because the reason why I care is always like the people I knew too. Like, ugh, you weird. Just unfollow me.
Just don't care.
Because literally,
for me, it doesn't matter. I buy all old stuff, so it don't matter.
I know you in your archive bag, and no one could ever even touch that.
You can replicate the style because style is whatever, but you can't buy. You can't buy the actual items, and that's fine.
That's why, like, my mom literally was like complimenting your jacket yesterday, like your Raf jacket, and like she was like, my mom was like, send me the deets. I was like, it's archives. I don't know. You're not gonna be able to get that jacket.
Might need to check a museum somewhere.
And you see, I looked it up. I couldn't even find it anywhere. I found that one picture, and it was like some Yahoo Japan, and it was the auction completed. It was like you could tell that was an old page because that jacket is like 11 years old. So it was like, I like that. I need to get like you.
Yeah. And that's not why I like those things. It's mostly because, in my opinion, if you don't have a full grasp of the history and the context of why you're buying something, then you're just lost. Like,
you're just a sheep.
Like, people buying Balenciaga now. Like, Balenciaga is old, and Demna is not the person that was designing Balenciaga before. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's a whole history that you should make yourself privy to. You should understand the things that you're buying and why you're buying them. You shouldn't
just be buying them just to say you have it.
Like, do you, like, for example, not for example, but like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or Chanel or Hermes or any of those different things, or even Bottega, like, understand why those brands are able to sell.
Yeah, understand how they got to where they got to, like how they got to the point.
Because then you get a better understanding. What makes them unique
too? Like, what makes them different? What's it about Bottega that's different than Raf or Gucci?
And then you'll probably end up appreciating it more and end up really even liking it more rather than just because somebody else was wearing it. For example,
notice how everything was a face. Like, notice how nobody popular wears Balmain anymore. But that was the thing.
Yeah,
like 2014, that was the thing. 2013, even Givenchy, like that was like the thing. Like we used to watch the Kevin Hart thing. Mm-hmm. Everybody was wearing like Givenchy back then.
And leather, everything, because that's what Kanye was wearing. That was around Dark Twisted, and it's like Red October time.
Yeah, and it's like those brands are still making clothes. But
why? Well, Watch the Throne, sorry.
It's like those brands are still wearing clothes, but why aren't you buying it? Because you want to go to the bodega in your Bottega. That's why. That's why.
Don't ever say that again.
That's why you're not buying them, because you want to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And Bottega, I like Bottega. And the funny thing is, I was talking to somebody about this on Instagram, Twitter, because we were talking about like billionaires, how they do wear designer. People think billionaires don't wear designer, but they do. They just wear designer that you don't know about. He was saying how that was Bottega for the longest. Bottega was literally like that quiet brand that rich people wore before it became what it is now. Like, and now there's still more stuff, but they still don't have flashiness. Like, but the colors now, the subtleties. They don't have the brand, the bright colors. That's like a new thing. But before it was. And even still, they don't have like the name plastered on stuff. Like, so that was the Bottega. That was what they were for the longest. They were literally like that rich brand that people didn't know about. But now it's not.
Yeah.
And that's why it's funny, because people had to let you know they're wearing it because it doesn't say it. Like, these is Bottega. Okay.
Or the McQueens. There's a lot of like.
Yeah, that Alexander McQueen sneaker thing was so annoying. It's still a thing now, but there was like a point where everybody got them and they thought it was like a fashion, like,
because that's one of those things where they were clowning Raf for having the Raf Stan Smiths that just had the R instead of the 3 stripes. And it's literally
the same thing as the Alexander McQueen, literally. And I like the Raf Simons Stan Smiths. I like them. Did you have them? I think you had them. You had so much stuff. I think you had them.
I have so much stuff.
Sold them.
I had original Stan Smiths. I don't think I had the Raf ones. I might have wanted them, but I never ended up buying them.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm doing.
I don't think I could have
I just
justified
lose
it
count.
anyway. Yeah, I've had too much stuff, but it's
It's just annoying. Like that's the thing. That's the only reason I get annoyed with it because I just want there to be passion.
But you know why? You know what the thing is? I think there's comfort in those that know, because
Yeah, those that know, those that don't know.
the models, the stylists, the historians, the collectors, all those people, that's who I like.
Yeah.
Because they know. Like, I don't need to tell you that I have XYZ on.
Usually
like,
you know.
Yeah, people will know.
Like the guy that does those videos, like what are you wearing today? Usually he like the other people who do. They usually kind of know what you're wearing. Like they'll know the brand before you even say it. And you've done it. So many times we watch so many videos, you knew right away what it was just because the way it was cut, just the way certain things that like stand out, like how Alix has certain things you could just tell is Alix, you know, or is Alix? What is it? Alix. Alix. I say it wrong, but yeah, like I feel like I'm not trying to act like I'm an expert yet, cause I'm still learning. You see, I've always asked you questions. Like I'm trying to be like a sponge and like try to learn more. But it's like you could just tell the difference though between people who really have like that passion. And that's the thing, like you were saying. At least there's a thing where if you know people, because the people who know, they get easily spotted out the people who don't know. Like people who are not in it for the right reasons stick out like a sore thumb. And there's a mutual respect that you have from people who actually do know.
That's why people like ASAP Rocky, where he was like, he called in that one interview he did with Kerwin, where he was, calling out. He didn't really call out Atlanta fashion. I'm not going to say that, but he was just like
he was like, it's theirs.
That was all tacky. But he's one of those people that's also, he's a historian. He knows. Yeah. He knows who's designing what.
He's been calling out Raph and Rick before it was like mainstream.
And so was Kanye. I don't even think many people know Kanye did a photo shoot spread with Helmut Lang.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
When was that? It was a couple years ago. When they were launching one of the projects, Solange was in it. They just Helmut Lang basically got a group of people that are Helmut Lang fans. Yeah. And then they each talked about like him and like the designs and stuff like that. And Kanye was one of the people.
Oh, but I didn't know that.
So like, he's a historian, or like a lot of these models are historians.
Like I said, a lot of celebrities are too, just because they are around this so much. Like they're, they you could tell, like, cause some celebrities don't have to care, but you could tell the celebrities that do care, that sit like they're probably like sponges around their stylist. Like they listen, and the stylist probably explaining to them what it is. Like, oh, this archive, this from this show, this from this is this look. Like they're absorbing all that. You could tell the fashion, like the celebrities that actually care. Cause there's some celebrities that literally said they learn fashion from their stylist.
Yeah, and it's also if you care.
Yeah, and and the thing is, like, I get it, you don't have to,
but like.
But it's like, and I'm judging you too, because it's like that's weird. Why, like what you wear is you literally your personal brand. Like people see you, and then what you wear is you. So it's like if you're just wearing something because it's kind of weird. I am judging you because it's like that's you.
It tells me a lot about the person too, because if I see you, for example, let me destroy a bunch of brands real quick. And it's funny because we're doing a podcast and I'm not dressed ever.
Me neither. So I'm really wearing my alumni shirt and my hair is a mess. I'm wearing like this hat in every podcast.
Anybody that ever came across this would probably be like, who is he to talk about, blah, blah, blah.
No, but you guys don't see us like.
It's okay. Don't say anything.
On the weekend when we there's a Monday night right now. How it's busy season. Look it up. I'm an accountant. It's a busy season.
Even earlier today, they don't know why I put on the goat lamb skin leather jacket to go to UPS, but
maybe we do need to start maybe dressing more for the pod, but we just are home. We want to be comfortable. If we were in the studio, then yeah, probably we're home.
I judge you if you wear like today. I judge you if you wear V-Lone. Yeah. Because V-Lone used to be very expensive because of resale, and it was hard to get. But then they started doing the collab projects with like Juice WRLD and the artist and Pop Smoke and rest in peace to both of them, first and foremost. But then he did the collab with The Weeknd and all that other stuff. So V-Lone became more affordable, and as it declined because of whatever allegations,
I'd probably say ASAP
Barriad, and it devalued the brand. So if you're wearing it today,
and that's the thing too. If you're wearing it after those allegations, I'm judging you too. Cause you probably
they weren't allegations actually. I think he got
convicted.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the thing is that people probably don't know ASAP Rocky is the one who made it. They probably don't know about the convictions and that. They're just wearing it because they've seen someone else wear it.
V-Lone Thug. Yeah. I'm judging you if you're wearing that because you're only wearing it because it's cheaper. The Antisocial Club was another one.
So I just sold it the other day for like $30.
Chrome Hearts is another one. If you're wearing it, because I know that the people that are wearing it now, they're wearing the clothes first and foremost, when it's not even a clothing company. Yeah. I've seen people do real subtle things. Like I used to have Chrome Heart sunglasses. That's such like a minor, subtle thing that you wouldn't even.
Yeah, like I've heard you had like a few Chrome Heart things. I saw a picture that I had of me and you had that beanie.
I had that beanie. I also had
yeah,
the one the hat I'm wearing in my intro is Chrome Hearts and the YouTube.
And that was like 2019. Before
and even that's extremely late because Chrome Hearts was the early 2000s thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, you literally was buying it before like that. Nobody was talking about it. You just randomly decided to buy it, and I feel like you were like a predictor of trends. You happened to buy like literally the most like hype brands right before the boom.
Yeah, because I went through that hype beast phase where I wasn't really like, I was a part of those people where I was buying stuff just because you want the status and all that kind of stuff. But then it took me a good amount of time to like understand different things. Like I used to buy helmet laying things that said helmet laying on it, and certain designs that were recent because I wasn't really like privy. Like I knew the brand, but I wasn't really privy to the history and the importance of it. Then I go back and watch old fashion shows or go look through pictures or scroll through Grailed and all these other eBay and all these other places for hours and watch videos about it and try to really understand the context and understand why I dress the way I dress today. Like why when we went to that clothing or to that fabric store was I trying to buy buckles to put on pants and jackets and things like that. Yeah. That's because of Helmet Lang, because of the 1999 collection. Yeah. And all these different things. So going back and trying to understand why I'm dressing to this day is important to understand the history of it. Yeah. If you wear, what we got? Chrome Hearts, V-Lone. That was it so far?
Antisocial.
Antisocial Social Club. Alexander McQueen shoes. Rick Owens. Ramones.
I know, I'm still in the Ramone club. I know.
I don't really count Ramones specifically, but like any Rick Owens.
Because now the thing is, you could tell everybody's just buying any Rick Owens shoes now because it's Rick Owens. Like there's some people are buying every variation of the Ramones now. I'm like,
and that's it. And it's not. It's also the clothing too, because people are buying jackets that just came out. Like in my opinion, if you don't have anything of an item, and the first thing you buy is something that just came out, like if you're buying a fall winter 2021,
that means you don't really care.
You're just buying it just because. So I'm judging you there.
Because if you were into a brand, you would go down the path of like the history and like the archive stuff and everything.
Because then that to me means you just searched Rick Owens, went to the website,
and brought the first thing. Yeah.
Just to say you have Rick Owens or whatever. What else? There's a ton of them. Honestly, I could just keep going down. Obviously, anything with the Gucci logo on it. Louis Vuitton is kind of one of those things that doesn't count. Yeah. Because
I feel like a lot of people don't really go towards Louis, if that makes sense. They go for the bags, but they don't go for the clothes. Because Louis Vuitton doesn't really make a lot of stuff that says like Louis Vuitton on it.
No, they have a lot of stuff that, well, nowadays they do.
Now they do. Yeah.
They do a lot of monogram stuff though.
Yeah, they kind of stick to their monogram thing.
Anything that says Dior on it. Anything that says Alexander Wang on it. Anything that says anything on it. Yeah. Anything that you're wearing that's readily identifiable because it says it on the item, then you're not buying it for yourself. Because
if that's the only, if you say you like designer and everything that you have, that's designer says what the brand is. You don't like designer. You just like to say that you have designer. You don't like the designer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You like the clout that you think that comes from it. Yeah. Or the clout that does come from it. Yeah. Because we do have to recognize that is a thing. Because we were just talking about
it. People are so like amazed. Like you ever see somebody's posting they're wearing something, they're like, look at you. Like, you fleas. Like, how? It's just because they're wearing a Gucci t-shirt. Okay. I just can't.
Yeah, like you opened up my closet earlier trying to see what I bought, and it's just a simple dress shirt. Yeah. But the reason...
What brand was that?
It was Izzy Miyake from 1999. I
don't know why I thought it was a Run Morant.
No.
I just saw the IS and I saw the M, so I was like...
I do like Isabel Marant, though. But even that, I only bought that one because I sold a Comme des Garçons one back in the day. Then I was like,
yeah, that's the crazy thing about you. Like people flex the designer so much, and they don't realize literally all your suits are designer. Like, and you could flex that if you wanted to, but you don't because it's like I'm wearing it because I like them.
but then
I like them because the cut. Like you're wearing it for that reason. You're not wearing it to tell people you're wearing it.
And then people see it, but you can tell. Like like the reason why designers are designers, and that's the other thing that people don't understand. It's the way that their cuts and silhouettes are. Like clothing, maybe if people understood how clothing is made, it would make more sense.
Yeah.
You literally have to stencil out each individual piece, cut it, and then sew it.
Together,
That's where cut and sewing comes from. And
it's crazy. You can see it on everything. You can tell they cut this, and then they sew this piece to this piece to this piece. So crazy.
Yeah, this is just a gilding, I believe. But
yeah, maybe look at it, it's like, wow.
But especially when it comes to like tailored suits and wool things, or really just a lot of stuff that I wear because you don't fly. But
yeah,
you can tell the difference.
Yeah, even with your shoes, you could tell the difference. Like
there's a lot more craftsmanship to it.
Yeah,
craftsmanship to it.
More shape.
And that's what the details that, because Chrome Hearts with the clothing is, I'm not gonna. That's one thing, but in terms of the Starks family and their craftsmanship and attention to detail with everything.
Yeah.
The Chrome Hearts store, any of them, are probably the most detailed works of art that you could ever come across. Mm-hmm. Literally everything in there is like handmade because I don't even know what you would call them. Like they're just metal workers. So everything that they do is like handcrafted, sitting there with the saw.
That's why a lot of people like their jewelry.
The jewelry is crazy.
Yeah.
But everything that they do is like that. Their doorknobs are Chrome Hearts. Mm-hmm. Like literally, I can't even the light switches are Chrome Hearts. Like everything is handmade, and that's what makes them what they are. Yeah. It's not the clothes.
Yeah, it's not the goth design that everybody likes.
The crosses everywhere.
Yeah.
If you wear Von Dutch.
Von Dutch is the craziest one because he literally hated black people.
Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah. It's just it's so crazy. What's that other one? That wasn't really a thing. I was going to say Cabela's, but that wasn't really that never really became like a thing.
What else? Duck camo.
I know you say you don't like the Carhartt thing.
Carhartt is interesting.
I mean, I don't really like it because their stuff is so boxy.
Yeah, because it's made for construction workers. Yeah. And Carhartt, people used to wear Carhartt's early 2000s. Like it's not even that's not new.
Suit, right? The top and bottom, pants and jacket. Set.
The overalls, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Really just so many different things.
You could just really tell when it's like I said, when this is not authentic.
We've definitely lost like 90% of our audience after the Kanye part. Because nobody even knows what we're saying right now.
True. Maybe we could let's flip it.
Not. That was like a 40 minutes.
I know. I wasn't even fully even done with Kanye.
What else we got?
I was gonna add one more thing about his documentary coming out February 16th. How we finally got a date for it, and I feel like it's gonna be a big deal. Definitely. Cause you already know how everybody is. Once all the cool people start talking about it, and it makes its rounds on social media, everybody's gonna tune in. Even the people who hate him are gonna tune in. You already know, cause it's gonna be talked about. So people don't like feeling left out. They gonna tune in, and then I think it's a good thing. But I think it's gonna give a lot of people that respect that I feel like he doesn't really get from a lot of people, still, especially young people who don't really know his legacy like that. Like a lot of young kids that really don't know, like who kind of just got really put onto him with Donda. Or like even maybe a little bit before first time they might have heard about him was the whole MAGA hat. That might have been the first time a lot of these little kids, Gen Z people, found out about him. No, babe, like 10, like maybe not 10-year-olds, but maybe like 15-year-olds. They were like, think about it, 15-year-olds were like 11, 12 when all that stuff was going on. Now that they're 15, 16 in high school, like this documentary really put them on to a lot of stuff. And then I feel like a lot of Drake stans are gonna give him his respect too when they watch this because they'll see. If this documentary shows everything, then they'll see. Like they'll see how all their favorite rappers got inspired, and I can't wait. I'll be watching the first night. We'll be watching. I mean,
I actually don't think Kanye's that inspirational musically. Interestingly enough, for rappers,
I don't think it's gonna be like musically. I think it's just gonna be the whole the image of him, and like the singing stuff, obviously, and the 808s. Like I mean, that I guess that more so that the 808s and singing. I don't think he's a big inspiration either, but I just mean more so like that new sound that he created. He created a wave that people were gonna be like, oh, okay, I see now where it came from.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Only people that understand music understand these things. Nobody's good because people are dense, or not that they're dense. They just don't understand music, right? Because their idea of inspiration is, if I rap one, like, I don't know, what do people be listening to today?
Dirk, baby.
Like, you listen to Dawn FM by The Weeknd, they will listen to track one and then go listen to a Michael Jackson song and not understand the influence of Michael Jackson on the other, because the songs don't sound identical. Like,
but we instantly were like Michael Jackson influence.
But we know that because we know music in that sense, but most people don't really. I know that's an extreme example, but it's just a way to amplify my point. Is that if a song doesn't identically sound like people wouldn't be able to identify how Lil Wayne is influential to Young Thug, like because
it's not exact.
It's not exactly the same, and like the cadence of how Young Thug says things might be different, or the accent that he has.
Yeah,
and that's how a lot of people are.
But the thing, at least with the documentary, though, it will create conversation among people that are into music, and then people who might not be into will see those conversations, and then they might be like, oh, okay, I see the connection.
You know why? Because they say how influential 808s is. You couldn't point out a single album to me that sounds like 808s.
Yeah, but you could point out the subtleties of people and how it was inspired by 808s. But nothing's gonna be direct.
Yeah,
that's just not how it works.
So people won't understand that or pay attention to it.
And a lot of these, like, you know, young white kids, like, his kids uses them. And, like, it could be other races, too, but it's usually not really black people. But a lot of them, they'll be onto stuff because it's cool. Like, you know, The Weeknd is, like, cool now. He's, like, everybody likes him. Like, you know, he made it to that point. And The Weeknd might have inspiration from, like, a lot of, like, black artists from, like, the 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, that a lot of these white kids don't never heard of. And they'll never be able to give those people their flowers because they don't know. Because that wasn't what their parents were playing in the household. So... But I'm excited for it. It's a trilogy, it's 3 parts, so I think it's gonna be good. You know me, I'm emotional, so I'm probably gonna be like crying during, because it's just I love seeing people like accomplish what they say they're going to. You know, like that's literally like on the first thing of the preview. Like it was 2002. He was like, I forgot who it was. I was talking to him. They were like, "Why you call yourself a genius?" He's like, "I am." Like I just like that, you know, like how he's talking about. Like he was like, "Oh look, they're making a documentary of me right now." And that was 21 years ago. He said that. Like that for me, that's just so like, I don't know, that's so crazy. And just, you know, for him to be able to obviously live to the age that he lived, you know, obviously like in rap, that's like not a thing. A lot of rappers die young, so it's just cool to be able to see what you done, you know. So I'm, you know me, I'm gonna be like crying, be like, But yeah, February 16th, everybody go watch. It's gonna change. I feel like it's gonna change some things. People gonna they're giving him his respect back until they get into they're probably gonna get into the whole MAGA stage, and then people are gonna be mad again, but.
No, they're probably not going to do it.
Yeah, maybe not. That's what some people online think on TikTok. They're like, "Oh my God, we're about to get the family drama." I'm like, "But probably not. It's probably just gonna be about his music. Like, I don't think we're gonna get Kim divorce drama." Like, that's what they're thinking. I'm like, the documentary was finalized like a year ago, probably 2 years ago.
And I don't think that Kanye's gonna. Yeah. She may not even show up in this at all.
She might not. She might be a little clip of her in the studio maybe one day, but like I don't think people realize this is about his like music. Like it's gonna be about his. Like, I don't think it's gonna be. I mean, it might have that stuff. I don't want to speak too soon because it might just be about his whole life, personal and music. But I think it's mostly gonna be focused on the music.
When we're gonna talk about the fact that his worst music came out after they got married.
Yeah, that's what people were like. Oh, look, this is Kanye before he was Kanye. And everybody's like, no, like you guys just associate Kanye being Kanye because of Kim. Like he was a whole superstar before Kim. You think his marriage to Kim messed him up? You think the Kardashian curse is real?
Yeah, because like, who wants to be like? Yeah, it's bad enough when you're already famous, but who wants to be like a part of that whole like, where your whole check is made out off of like reality TV, like your whole brand is like fake.
Is being PR, like being fake.
Yeah, like promoting brands and stuff like that. Kanye ain't never promote no brand. You ever seen him on Instagram?
He hated being on that show. Like, you've seen the times he was on that show. He hated it.
That's the type of thing that'll drive you crazy. Where now you got cameras in your house. You saw he was cursing out the people. He was like, "Yo, it's 4 a.m. You outside taking pictures."
And I imagine you living with them.
That's the same feeling he has. But now the cameras are in
his house,
and you're paying
kids, them. Yeah. Mm-mm. And then everyone wants to say it's Connie's fault for the divorce. Like
what? Who would want that? That's what my dad joked if like I ever became famous that I would do reality TV. No, I would not.
I would never
in my life.
Ew. I don't care how much they paying. Ew. Cause
it's not even real.
They make they make plot lines. Like you think about your day-to-day life, we're not doing nothing. What are they gonna do? Record me on my computer, sitting in this corner every day? Like, but no, they create a storyline. They make you do things. They make you go out. They make you start stuff with people who like it's not real. So freaking dumb. Everything's dumb. But yeah, 1 hour and 5 minutes later, we got through 2 bullet points. What's next? Maybe we'll keep it on musicians. But we'll talk about Young Dolph, how they got a suspect. They say he was turn himself in today. I wonder what happened. He said he was turning himself in Monday. Today's Monday. But Justin Johnson. So I want to talk about how it's kind of scary how a lot of these people who get killed by people who like was around them, like in their circle or like cool with them. So now it kind of further proves that whole, what you think was a jealousy, or do you think they had beef? Like maybe he owed him something. Because, it was the same thing with Nipsey. Like it was somebody he knew that killed him. Who else? Was there somebody else that like got killed by somebody that was in the circle? Like he was in pictures around them? Who was there? Somebody notable.
Probably a lot of people. Lil Snoop was one.
It was somebody notable though, where it was like, oh, he was right in the picture with him. I don't know. Somebody compared it to that story. Did you hear about that story of Alexis Crawford, that girl that was killed by her college best friend, fast roommate? It was killed by her and her boyfriend. That was one of those examples too. Like she was living in the picture with her like a few months before. Like it is kind of scary. So that's why I was gonna talk about like how do you think like it's better in life to have less people around you because people really do be jealous of you, and that it could lead to that point where they kill you.
I don't think it's necessarily the quantity of people. I just think it's that thing like quality really is the most important thing, because when you're rappers, you have so many people that like leech off of, like you got to basically, they have the burden of bringing the whole hood with them when they get popular, and then you have so many different people you got to take care of your friend, and you got to take care of his friend's mom, and you got to take care of all these different people, and then once you don't do that, then it's beef. And people have that entitlement that like, I've known you since this is like, you say that with family even. So if your family's gonna do that, then your friends, or quote unquote friends, are definitely gonna be that way too.
It's so nasty to me. Like, work for it. They worked for it, so you do it too. Like, I don't care if I knew you. You're not getting a dime.
That's why I always had that stance. I'm like, to be completely honest, if I ever did really get popping for something, I'm not talking to anybody that I used to talk to.
Nah, I mean, I think people that are in your life, like when you become rich, but not people that have worked before.
But even to some extent, people that are in my life, it's like,
I mean, you still talk to them, but I just want to give them money just because I know them.
I wouldn't even entertain the conversation though either.
Yeah,
like you just, and that's one of those things where it's like people are like, oh, you switching up. It's just like, nah, like you're switching up.
Yeah, and I'm living my life that I'm on, like the path I'm on.
To avoid any potential issues, I'm going to separate myself and move over here. I value selfishness. I think that if people were more selfish about certain things, that the world would be more of a better place, if that makes sense. Like people need to, by selfish I mean care about yourself more.
Yeah. Because that's the crazy part. You put in that work to get there. You did it. Like they're like, I was around, but you didn't do really anything directly to do this. You did it, and you can't really even relax and take care of yourself. You stressing yourself out, trying to worry about, like you said, the friend's mom and the friend's cousin. It's like you shouldn't have to worry about that. Like honestly, you really at the end of the day should really only take care of your family, and even that, some people don't do that. But I feel like that's the only people who really that's all you kind of, and like your immediate family too. Like it's always extended family that be like, I raised you, so you do your job. You were an aunt, you were a grandma, congrats. But I gotta give you my money now. And like, I don't know, it's hard because it's like, yeah, that's your grandma. Like, you gotta give your grandma money. I don't know. I don't ever want to be rich or famous.
No, you don't. For me, I think it's real simple.
Yeah, but it's real simple. You worked hard. It's your money. You do what you want with it.
That's it.
Everybody else should have had a plan already in place for their lives. They shouldn't have had a plan based around your success. That's wild. Anything can happen to you.
I don't talk about family stuff on here, obviously, but it would just be very interesting to see any type of text like that come through. It would be so interesting.
I already know it will happen for my family.
I don't know
No
if it
offense
would.
to my extended family, but I know.
I don't know if it would for me, but if it did, I would probably let out probably one of the biggest laughs of all time.
Be like, when was the last time you really checked in on me? And now you want a milli? No. It'll probably be the little stuff too, like, hey cousin, or hey nephew, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks! Exclamation point.
Be like, yeah, I know this might be weird, but you know your aunt be suffering sometimes and struggling. No, I'm just
your aunt be suffering is funny.
I'm not talking about like me in particular. I'm saying like that's how the conversations be with these people. Like, yeah,
your aunt be suffering.
Can you maybe can you cover like my rent for a few months? They'd be like that probably. I'm sure those conversations are awkward.
Not getting a text back.
Yeah, block. But that's the scary part. Cause that's back to this conversation. That's like you do that, and now they come for you. They sending the shooters for you, and like this is crazy.
Or they're not, because once you have money, you're not that everybody, not that anybody is untouchable, but like if you're not in the streets, anybody could be a target, but being in the streets is like probably the biggest culprit of these things happening.
Yeah, because
there's so many people that have money that you just wouldn't even know, and they're not even a target. Like, we were just watching the American Dream thing, the 555 people that own American Dream and
those
all
owners
America.
are walking around somewhere right now. We don't even know.
And nobody would know. Even people that demographic wouldn't even necessarily know who those people are.
Yeah,
You're able to get away from people.
The only thing is, though, yeah, you can't get away. The only thing is, though, like you could still be targeted though, because people watch your story. They still see where you're at. They'll find out. But like, I know what you mean though, because like that's why the whole thing you get killed in your hometown, because the people in your hometown, they don't got money to travel. They're not meeting you in LA, in Calabasas.
Yeah, they're not flying out when I'm in Tulum.
Yeah, like, to come find you.
Finding me in Turks.
That's why, yeah, that is the thing. People get killed in their hometown because the people from their hometown are not affording to go to those places. Yeah, and they know you. They know where you stay. They know where you used to grow up. They know your favorite spots to hang out at. They know like your favorite food spots. So
I would disappear. That's why I always said, like, even now to some degree, the only reason people even know I'm still alive is really just because of you. Like, I don't really post it. I don't even know the last time I tweeted. I wouldn't even know. Honestly, wouldn't even know. I don't really get seen. So that's kind of like my ideal way of living. Like, if I just had a bunch of beat placements, I would network internally, because there's so many producers or like no followers, engineers, people that are in the public working on massive hit platinum records,
and you would walk right past them on the train and probably bump them and be like, move. Be like,
you would never know.
I just produced a Beyonce song. You telling me to move? But I wouldn't say that. But
like, I got $20 million right now.
Yeah, I'm only on the train because I'm not trying to drive in the city.
Like right now. I just saw an Instagram post of all the times famous celebrities got caught taking the subway in New York. Yeah,
because there was a whole thing where some girl was like, people who wear designer fits but be on the train. I was like, you must have not been in New York before. You wear designer fit and be on the train, because who's driving?
Now you got to walk or drive.
Like, I'm going to drive 20 blocks in traffic and take an hour to go 20 blocks, or am I going to take the train for 5 minutes and go 20 blocks? Like, people would just be talking.
I could go 50 streets.
Like, rich people take the train every day. Like, that's New York. That's the culture.
Wealthy people take the train.
The culture of New York. Like,
people working on Wall Street, if they live up in by Central Park, they're taking the subway. They're not driving.
They're driving or walking.
Wasting time driving that many blocks. Going from what street is that? It's like from Wall Street all the way up to like 60th Street.
People just be talking.
Crazy.
Like, but yeah, I just think, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just a quality thing. You just gotta make sure the people around you are like good people, because this happens so many times and it's scary.
To clarify my point before, if you dipped out of my life, really at any point, to be honest with you, you're not coming. You're not invited back.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know what your intentions are. I'm not trying to be cool with you. If I I wasn't missing you while you were gone
Yeah.
and you weren't in my life. So you're not going to come back and then, because I don't know what your intentions are.
Yeah.
And you're not about to come up off of me, off of my work.
Yeah.
Because realistically, with this music stuff, I'm the one sitting there
Literally making
learning
stuff
and
every
making
night,
it, learning how to do this stuff and
now
trying
you
to
gotta
make
give people money because they were your friend in 2008.
Like, oh no, you ain't help me. You weren't sitting there.
It's always funny too. I feel like people who weren't your friend or who are not your friend now would be like, oh, I went to school with him. Like people always do that thing. So it's always weird.
I would probably get aired out.
I would get aired too. I feel like all my ex friends will come out with stories and be like,
Yeah.
whoa,
I would
holding that in.
I would definitely get aired out, but I know for sure I would get asked for favors.
Yeah, same.
There's only maybe 5 people that I would, keep along for the ride. If that, there might even be 3.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's why there are people like. That's why I'm happy now that I'm at the point in life where I'm like I don't have a lot of people in my life because I feel like that's better for me. Because first of all, it's less stressful. Like I feel the more people have in their lives, people make their lives so stressful and chaotic. Because they'll have so many friends, so many people that they have to constantly keep tabs on. Constantly have to check in on. Like that's stressful to me. Like, so I just feel like the less is better, and also like in the event that you do end up going somewhere like that's you don't gotta take many people.
I'm
good.
So much of a believer of the treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I treat people by it. I don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't like anybody. So don't talk to me and don't like me and leave me alone. I love it.
Yeah.
And you do your thing and I'm gonna do my thing. And that's it.
Yeah.
And if I talk to you, then I talk to you and we're cool. Because I'm the nicest person in the world. But I just don't. I'm not friendly like to the extent where like I'm trying to be cool with people for no reason.
I think it's just also too like this just
I don't want to be cool with people.
And I just feel like this I don't know, a lot of people are like the same but they're different. Like I feel like there hasn't been like that connection or that bond that you have that's like so like you're just like me.
Yeah, it has to be. It's not even so much about being like me as it is being around somebody that cares.
Yeah.
And I keep referencing his interview all the time on his podcast, but that Tyler the Creator interview where he went on like a little soliloquy about people caring about things. He's like, people really don't care about things anymore.
They're just living.
And I need people to care about things. Like the way I just passionately spoke about fashion and stuff like
40
before.
minutes.
I need people that care about something. I don't care what it is. Like whatever it is that you do, everybody's an individual. I'm not going to say that just because you don't care about fashion that you're whatever.
Yeah.
You just care about something.
Something, yeah.
Anybody that's passionate about business, about medicine, about, spirituality, whatever it is, whatever you're passionate about, just be passionate about something. But people don't care about much. And that's why I feel like a lot of progress doesn't get made in people's lives because they don't love it.
Yeah.
They don't love what they do.
I really do think if you really, 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 really work hard for something, I think you could do anything you really want to.
And money doesn't matter. It's more so about like doing the things that you want to do. Because so many like I don't even know what kind of examples I can make. Like people that are artists and paint and things like that, they really love what they do. And that's not even necessarily a profession where you can make a lot of money because that's probably, I could never do it. I'm not built for that. I would never in my life.
Because you spend hours, not even hours, days, weeks.
To potentially make no money.
Yeah. I think you could tell they love it though.
I will admit, I'm not strong enough as a person to do that art form, even if I was good at it.
Yeah.
I'm not confident enough in myself and strong enough of a person to endure any struggling or anything like that, chasing my passion of art.
Yeah.
But me being around somebody that's really passionate about it, I love it. Like I love to pick people's brains about things that they are passionate about. If it's like investing, I want to know everything that you know about investing. If it's sculpture, I want to know everything you know about sculpture. If it's architecture, tell me everything you know. Like that's why I sit on YouTube. Most of the time when I'm on my phone, I'm just reading about people that have done it and are knowledgeable and have a specialty that I'm not familiar with. And I just sit there and consume it all.
Think about it. I feel like I haven't had a lot of conversations with people and I could tell what they really love. Like people know I love makeup. Like that's obvious. People know I love sneakers. Like I feel like I haven't had. Now that I think about it, I haven't really had a lot of connections with people who like you said, are passionate about something. You know, and that's bad.
That's the most important thing to me is
that's
caring.
bad. That you kind of just floating through life and don't like. I kind of just like everything's disposable to you. You only like things because other people like them. Like truly knowing yourself and knowing what you like is like, it shows something about that person because you spent time with yourself. That's the thing. I feel like that's the thing. Some people are so obsessed with being around people that they don't spend enough time with themselves, and that's why they lost and not doing nothing with their lives because they don't love themselves enough because they don't even spend time with themselves. They always want to be in somebody's face. Like sit home for a week and learn what you like. And that time that they are alone, they're on social media. They're still being social. They're not actually learning themselves, and loving themselves, and it's so obvious.
I explore myself through other people as well too. Like
Yeah, you can.
no,
Yeah.
no. I mean, no. This was kind of like supposed to be a separate point, but like, even hearing how people speak about themselves helps me learn more about myself and things that I feel. And that's why I watch those actors roundtable things. I might watch the same one like 5, 6 times because hearing actors speak about, trying to be, because they have to explore these characters when they're playing them and really be immersed in the role to make it a good thing. So hearing how they deal with their own personal feelings and they express it in the art as well as trying to take on a whole nother persona and exemplify that person's life is interesting because it helps me understand more about myself and how other people deal with the things that they deal with, because I think you have to be psycho to be an actor.
I know. No, literally. We talked about this before. Like, we feel like you have to be, like, mentally ill
And they
to
say
be an
that.
actor.
And they say that.
Because you're literally pretending to be somebody else.
And you're able to do it
For
so well.
months.
Or years or whatever it is. And you might be working on 2 different roles at once. Or
And, like, how do you go home and just act normal? Like, you just pretended to be someone else for a whole day of filming. Like,
because for
so
me,
crazy.
I'm so emotional. If I was portraying anybody, I would probably end up taking that home.
Yeah.
Because they asked some of the people in the round table, they were like, do you ever take it home? They're like, no, it's like expressive. Like once you do it, then it's like, it's gone. It's like you're releasing it. For me, I would probably harbor that, especially if it's like a traumatic role or something like that.
Like you're being somebody who was like, I don't know, assaulted or like.
The only movie to ever make me cry was Fruitvale Station.
Yeah. And that's rough. To
Acting
go home
that
and have to be
it's crazy. Yeah.
Fruitvale Station was a wild movie.
It still bothers me. Like
The actual thing?
The movie bothers me
Oh,
still.
the movie, yeah. Yeah, that was like that was like a good movie that actually getting that like what happened across. I feel a lot of movies aren't good with those true story movies. That was a good one. I'll probably never watch it again because I can't watch it again. Whew. I just had to make my head hurt. But, oh yeah, okay. So the last music related, like I say, like music, because like some of this artists. Ari Lennox went to Ghana, and she fired off some tweets when she went, and it caused a war on Twitter as usual. So half of the war was people from Ghana, I think, or people just from the continent of Africa in general. I don't think it was people from Ghana. I was thinking it was mostly people from like Africa, like in general, like other countries. They were mad because they didn't like how she worded some of the stuff, like, because she said Ghana is the most beautiful country in the world. And, other people got mad. It's always, oh my God, it's always, everything always had to be a competition. Nigerians were mad. Everybody else from other countries were mad. And I'm like, I don't see what she said. That was a problem with that. And she'll say, I'll never forget suddenly crying the first time going to a beach in Ghana. It was so triggering, and I didn't feel alone. My heart aches for my ancestors. It was a surreal experience. I guess when she was on the beach, she probably felt weird, because that was like the coast where our ancestors were taken, So I think nothing was wrong with that either, right? Like I would feel weird too. Like there will be. There's definitely something you feel when you're there. And I guess people from Ghana are probably like, that's traumatic. Like how could you say that's traumatic when you didn't experience that? Like your ancestors didn't experience that, because you're here. How you gonna tell an African American what's dramatic, I would feel the same way, right? Like if I was on any like the Western African countries, knowing like my ancestors, I think my lineage are like all of us are most likely from Ghana, Nigeria, like along that whole thing, I would feel the same way. I'll be like, this is literally where my ancestors were taken. Like literally on these beaches, you know? And then someone's like, are your ancestors even from Ghana? Like laughing. But it's like, you might not know that they're from there, but it's still that same coast. So I don't think anything's wrong with that. And then someone said, I'm back again. This woman thinks she's in Wakanda. This is so corny. Like, you know, they were basically saying that she was corny for saying that. Like, because she said it was the most beautiful country. And then even this one person from Ghana that came to the defense to saying we're our own enemies. Ari doesn't deserve this. A bunch of bitter, ungrateful idiots trying to tarnish the image of the country all because of clout. And then someone said we can never fix the country if we don't fix ourselves. You guys are a bunch of bitter R words. Not saying that. With internet bundle. How you go bully Ari to the point she delete every trace of her visit. Are you people mad? Is she causes of the problems in this country? Can't believe you bullied Ari to the point she deleted almost all her tweets. You people are so miserable all because she went to Ghana and was sharing her experience. And someone said, can't lie, how people cooking Ari and her Ghana experience is not cute. We as Africans can never relate or understand that kind of experience, and it's unfair to us to mock someone feeling connected to their roots. And there's two more. It says, so Ari deleted all her tweets about Ghana. There's beauty in people, culture, food, hospitality experiences, natural sceneries, and ancestral connection. You fools thought she was talking about skyscrapers. One day we're not coming anymore. Blame yourselves. She said one day when we're not coming or when they're not coming anymore, blame yourselves. So basically they're saying like, you guys are basically pushing African Americans away. When it's weird, because on one section they're like, African Americans need to come back home and learn their roots. And then we come back home and learn our roots, and this is what they're saying. Like, so yeah. So that was one half. So we talked about that first, and we talked about the other half. But she said all that, and like, don't you feel like it's kind of crazy, like, right? Like they do encourage us to come visit. Like, you guys need to come visit Africa. You guys should move back here, move back to your country of origin. They say all that, but then like now you have somebody who went to visit, you know, and saying how she feels a different feeling that she, you know, being there, and they're mad. Weird, right?
No, because everything is like, it's not like, it's what you pay attention to. Because with any one singular thing that happens, there's always two sides to the feeling. So like, okay, people bullied her, and maybe that's what she harbored onto, and that made her delete the tweets. But it's not like
there's always gonna be mad people.
Yeah, it's just like there's always gonna be people that hate the Yeezys, and there's always gonna be people that like the Yeezys. But just because we harbor or focus on people that say they don't like them, then you know the perception is whatever it is. So it's not like all of Ghana came and rained down on her and was like, "Don't come back here." Mm-hmm. It was just people that those tweets probably bother her the most, and that's what caused her to delete them. So obviously there are still people that will still feel like we should come back, and there's still going to be people that want to reject us because they feel like we're not from there. Yeah. So it's what it is,
There's always going to be both sides. Like you said, I think she just focused too much on the negative.
Yeah, and the people just want to be miserable. Like that's all. That's literally is what we were having a conversation about yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. It's the haves and the have-nots on social media. Those that have are the influencers, celebrities, all those people, and then the have-nots are everybody else that's just miserable and complains about everything that exists except when it pertains to whatever their situation is, even if it's not a positive situation. Yep. So social media is stupid. Like I don't believe in deleting tweets.
Yeah, right. You said it.
You said it. Let it be what it is. And if anybody that's not rolling with it, then it wasn't for them. And who cares? Like LeBron said, you have to go back to your life, regardless of what you said on Twitter today. Hopefully you got your jollies off. You still have to go back to whatever predicament you're in, whether you're a multimillionaire or whether you're worth 10 cents, you still have to go back to your life. So nothing anybody says really matters. Yeah. And that's really my perspective on life.
If anything, I don't know if you could edit tweets that already exist, but if anything, she should just turn the responses off. You could turn responses off. You could have like the reply set to only
or don't
people. Or just let people talk.
Like who is he?
Yeah, right. Who are these people?
Who are they?
Yeah.
And who are you? That's the most important thing. Who are you? To culture, society, the world, the impact that you're gonna make is gonna be more. There's gonna be more than the rando from across the world that nobody knows. Yeah. And that's it. And that's my perspective.
So that makes sense. Be so sensitive. I get they're human, but it's like You got to realize who you are.
Social media is not a human thing.
Yeah.
It's not a human interaction.
It's not, because people aren't saying the stuff in person. They will never.
So keep it that way.
That's why I respect the people that do say it. Like, that's what I respect the celebrities the regular people that be calling out celebrities in person. Because, all right, cool. You keep that energy. Most people aren't like that.
Like that one guy that called out Jason Derulo and then he hit him with
Derulo. No, but see, but now I caught up with you.
He hit him with the 1-2 chicken wing combo.
Even there was this one time all these barbs were in New York and they were like harassing Cardi. I'm like, all right, they're crazy, but I could respect it. Like, you're not just internet gangster. Like, you really are saying it in person too.
But they're only doing that because
their friends are around.
And they know nothing's gonna happen. Like, it's the same thing about people.
Cardi was in the car.
People haggling people at sports arenas saying "F you," blah blah blah.
Yeah. But they would never be in a room and say it if it was just them two.
Because like the Malice in the Palace, like even though Ron Artest or Meta World Peace, like hit that guy with a haymaker, even though he didn't throw anything, it's just the concept of that. Because that's exactly what would happen. Like it's not. Money doesn't make you soft necessarily. Yeah. Like these people come from for the most part, entertainers don't come from positive situations.
Yeah, that's usually why they worked hard to get out of it.
Yeah, that's what gave them the drive to do so.
Yeah.
So it's not sweet. Like just because somebody has, they might dress a certain way, you could still get rocked.
Yeah.
So even in those situations, people wouldn't say anything because people would be like, LeBron's soft. It's like, whoa.
And the crazy thing is, like you said, if they were in a room with them, they would not say it because a lot of times too, people feed off the crowd energy. But I always had yelling and stuff going on. It's just you and them. You would never. And if you do, I give you your respect. But most people would never. Most people would never.
You ever been in a room with somebody that's 6'8" and 270?
No, I've never even been around anybody that tall ever.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. I've never been around LeBron, but I've been around athletes, and it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
I've been around really like real athletes, like D1 athletes, like professional people. Crazy. Yeah, it's like weird. It's like weird. It's like you look superhuman. You would never say that to them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even say that to Joe Schmo walking down the street. Like let's start there. Like you wouldn't say that to a regular person. And if you did, you would probably get folded.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
To the peak athletes in the world, you're gonna talk crazy. Like to the most athletic person in the world, you're gonna talk crazy. I'm not talking about LeBron, but just the peak athletes.
Yeah, like the most peak humans, basically.
Humans, like you're gonna talk about being physical with them.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, bro.
Yeah. Yep. Wait, what the heck?
When I was watching the Cowboys Washington football team, excuse me.
Ooh, I was about to say it. R word.
It's too ingrained in me, unfortunately.
I know.
But that's bad, so I apologize. But two players were on the sidelines. Those dudes was like 6'10", 300 pounds, and they started fighting.
That's scary.
And I'm like, who is stopping that?
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping that.
The other players.
And you're gonna heckle from the stands.
Yeah.
He go up there so quick, and these people from the hood too.
These people get killed with one hit.
You talking to somebody that's 6'6".
They could pick you up and literally launch you probably.
Bro, like one of the Cowboys players, I forget which one it was. These people's arms are so big they have to use leg braces for their elbows.
That's
like
nasty.
think about how big a leg is, and they have to use that for their elbows because their arm is that big. You're getting folded.
It's nasty.
You're getting folded if they go in the stands. But whatever.
Yeah, people need to stop being internet gangsters, stands gangsters, all that.
I've been around Giants. I was around, who was one Giants player I met? God, I'm forgetting his name. He was a Giants running back for mad long. Get it, brother. Tiki Barber. I was around Tiki Barber once at a bookstore randomly. Mm-hmm. And he was still the Giants running back at the time. He looked like he could kick a hole through my chest. I've been around this one Patriots player, and I'm forgetting his name too. I actually have his autograph, interestingly enough, and I forgot his name.
Wow.
Bro was like Diesel. I think he was he wasn't a lineman. He was a linebacker for the Patriots during the Tom Brady era. Crazy. I'm like, you guys would never say anything. Maybe the TV gives people a distortion because everybody's big.
Even if you're in the stands, you really can't tell.
Everybody's big, so everybody looks small. Nah. Nah, he was sitting down, and I was like, yeah, nah. He gonna
I wish
punch me.
everybody could be humbled. Like I wish everybody that says something online could be in that situation. Like I really wish everybody could be humbled because it's so crazy.
Yeah, they should have a functionality that teleports you to the person when you send that negative tweet.
Immediately.
May the best person win.
Yeah.
Hunger Games.
Yep. Oh. But yeah, there was one tweet that I didn't agree with though. She deleted that too, so I can't see it. But she said something about how she would, after being there, she had this awakening, how she wishes that she knew her ancestors. And it's like, but she worded it like weird. But all the foundation of Black American descendant of slavery, Black people on Twitter came crazy for her. Because they're like, you do know your ancestors. People just, like, I get that. Like, African Americans, we do know our ancestors, a lot of them. We just, like a lot of African Americans just feel lost because we don't know where they're descended from originally. But we know, like, at least 4 generations.
That's also due to the common misconception that, quote unquote, Black people, because there weren't Black people at the time, we would be considered natives. Like, they weren't already over here.
That's the thing, too. Like, some person said they did their ancestry and they said they are not even from slavery. Well, they said they became slaves here, but they said that their ancestors literally were here already.
Yeah, like there's
they
also
weren't
that
even
misconception.
From Africa, they were here. Well, they might have came from Africa so long ago, but they were already in America before slavery.
But even science disproves how many Africans actually even came from there in relation to how many people were over here, if that makes sense. Because the boats that they had, if you put them out max capacity and all the boats that came over here, it wouldn't total the amount of Black people that ended up over here.
Yeah.
So it would have had to have been there people already. Here already.
Yeah, which they were.
Which would not be that far off. It's not that far. If they think that the Africans and people in the islands and all that stuff were just stagnant, were just sitting there like no, they had boats. They had
they were exploring too. Like
Cuba is right next to Florida still. Like it was still the same way back then. The people could have took a boat right over. You could see it.
Yeah.
You could see the other place. You go right across there. Yeah. So there was all that stuff, and traveling from Mexico and people traveling from
stuff
Canada.
Was going on. Just because the way people weren't there doesn't mean stuff wasn't going on and people weren't moving around already.
The natives in these colder places are darker skinned. Yeah. People move everywhere. So.
And I just feel that African Americans need to stop with this whole film like we're lost puppies, we're lost children. No, you're not. We have a culture. Like we're African American. Like I know my ancestors. From Mississippi and they're from Georgia. Let's just embrace that. Like I know, everybody wants to have where they're from, but that's not where you're from. You're from the South. And there's nothing wrong with that. Wherever you're from beyond that, we don't have a connection to that. So why you are so hungry for it, If I find out tomorrow I'm from Nigeria, what is that gonna change? Okay, cool. I know where my great ancestors were from, but I'm still African American culturally. I'm not about to just start eating fufu. Is that what, did they eat fufu in Nigeria? I don't want to speak.
I feel like that's offensive.
No, fufu?
No, I know. I'm saying it. Just something about that.
I know, because fufu sounds crazy.
No, I'm just saying you're just throwing out allegations as to who's eating
what. West African. Yeah, they eat fufu. And they eat it in the Caribbean too, apparently. So it's not like, I'm not about to just start eating fufu and listening to Afro-Caribbean music, Afro beats. I'm not about to just start doing that and then start wearing, but like, I'm from this tribe. Just start repping a tribe from Nigeria and start wearing
That doesn't claim you.
Yeah. Like, I'm not about to start, so what is that going to do? Like, I hate this whole African Americans feeling like, oh my God, I'm so sad. I'm not sad. I'm from the South. My family's from the South. And I'm from a culture that's everybody has to be like, and I'm proud of that.
I'm from Jersey. I don't even claim.
Yeah, right. I'm from New York.
I don't even claim where my grandparents are from. I'm not from there.
Yeah,
that's a whole.
That's nothing. We don't identify the Southern culture. Like we do in some forms because it's passed down within our family units.
Love them people to death, and that some of them moved up here but moved back.
Yeah,
miss them, love them dearly.
Yeah,
but I don't identify with.
We don't know what that's like.
I don't know what it's like to grow up on a farm.
Like, I know what it's like growing up in New York and Jersey.
I've visited their homes and everything like that, and it's just completely different. It's slower. It's like the people are nicer. It's just completely different things. So I don't identify with that, and they don't identify with us. Like they call us the city slickers and stuff like that.
And it's like,
or the Yankees.
This whole and I hate that. I went because I plan to visit Africa one day, multiple countries within Africa. I'm not about to just come back and be like, ooh, their culture is so rich. I wish I knew mine. No, you coming back to America where our culture is rich too. Like people act like our culture is not a thing because I think they're so used to it. We have a rich culture as well. It's just new. It's just newer.
It's probably because people don't try to get in tune with the culture because People don't travel like in the country.
Yeah, there's so much African American culture in the country. Like you said, like, you know, you went to Tulsa, you see the stuff there. You went to this stuff in Tennessee, there's stuff
I was just
all
about
over.
to say Tennessee.
Like our culture is rich and it's everywhere. The music, the
NOLA,
blues, jazz, all that is us.
Yeah, I just said NOLA. I just came from Missouri. I think it was Missouri I was in.
Yeah, and then when you went to like
a museum.
Gary, Indiana, like you had the whole Motown feel.
Everything.
You go out to the West and you have the Black Cowboys. Like we have our culture is rich. People, like I said, people just don't want to learn it. They don't want to learn about the different art authors, the different music, the fashion. There's so
inventions.
Much. Yeah, inventions. Like look at the Black American inventions. Like you want to talk about Black people. Black Americans are probably like the most like advanced ones. We did so much. Like we literally done so much. Everybody wants to connect to something, but they don't love what we did. Like I don't want to misspeak, but probably out of the whole diaspora, Black Americans probably have like the highest level, like list of inventions of what we actually contributed to society. I don't want to misspeak, but I really believe that. And it's just like everybody, like I would never go. Like that's why, like all my friends I knew were from in Africa, I never felt that way because that's their culture, and I have my culture. You know. Like the way we talk, everything is like our culture. The way we dress, the music, the food. Like we have a rich culture. People it's just new. Like, African American ethnicity was founded in during slavery, so it's just new. But it's here, and it's extensive to the point where everybody tries to be like us all over the world. So clearly, it's a lit culture that everybody wants to be. You know, so be proud of that. Like I hate that the whole you feel like you need to know where you're from. That's not going to change that. Know where you're from is going to do what. Like, I'm not about to just act like I'm that's my culture when I don't identify it just because that's where my great-great-great-grandmother is from. Not even, because my great-great-grandmother was probably here. Great-great-great-great, like fifth grade, like sixth grade. Like, you know? So, you know, people was saying, like someone said being African-American is already a culture in its own. I wish more people knew that. These be the people who would take a test to figure out which part of Africa their ancestors were sold from, but won't celebrate their American ancestors and won't take the time to sit and talk with the elders of the family. I'm like, exactly. Like you're so concerned doing those 23andMe to find out where you're from, but you have a great grandmother who's alive who you could go talk to. You know, like when my great grandma was alive, I talked to her, and I was young, so I was 16, I think, when she died. I wish I was a little more mature and had more conversations, but I was old enough to have those talks. You know. Like, but people are so concerned to find out what country they're from, so they can try to connect to that. But you have family that's alive today that you can go talk to. Like, you have so much stories from your grandma, who's in her 90s. Like, that's your history. Stop trying to figure out where you're from, because that's not really you right now. Like, it's not you. You don't identify. Your ancestors for centuries haven't identified with it. So why are you trying to identify with it so hard? Because you want to put a flag in your bio. That's why. Everybody's so insecure and lost. They want to have a flag to rep. You have the American flag.
Hit the air horn one time.
You have the American flag. That's your country. There's nothing wrong with loving that country, our country, despite all the crazy stuff about it. Like, you know, I get passionate about this. I'm turning into a Black activist. This is the flag that we have too. That's the Black American flag, but we need an emoji for it. Anytime you see these flags, you already know the tweets are gonna be crazy. Just watch out for these flags.
I'm scared.
No, but that's why I'm really about to get into my FBA bag. I'm a foundational Black American descendant of slavery.
What else we got?
About to get into that.
No, you're not.
I am.
I'm turning your mic off. Go ahead, say something.
People be getting me mad.
I turned your mic off. We can't hear you.
You get me mad wanting to be from a country they don't know nothing about.
Meanwhile,
when you at your grandma's house, you go on the phone the whole time. Talk to her. She got your history right there. You don't need to find out no DNA test.
All right, so that is it.
No, stop
the podcast.
No, we're gonna talk about. This is two more things.
First of all, stop screaming in the mic.
Oh, we have 3 things.
No, we're not doing.
Okay, let's do the short topic real quick then. So Savage X Fenty is coming in person. Savage X Fenty. Do you think Victoria's Secret is done?
No.
Is this the end of the era?
No.
Why? The white people.
No,
no, white people are loyal to their Victoria's Secret in pink.
Because it being in store I don't think it matters.
I don't think it does either, but it kind of does. Having that brick and mortar does make a difference. I personally have not ordered anything from there because I need to try it on. So I personally haven't brought anything from Rihanna.
Trying on lingerie?
The bras. Because that's my...
You can try on bras in the stores?
Yeah.
That's nasty.
You can try it on over your clothes. You could try on Verizon stores. It is kind of nice now to think about it.
That's kind of crazy.
Like when I went to Victoria's Secret, I tried it on, and she's like, "Yep, it looks good."
I guess it's no different than trying on pants.
It really isn't. It's touching your skin. It's just your skin. It's not a genital. It's just nothing's coming out of this until you have babies. Milk. Yeah, it's just touching your skin. Yeah, same thing trying on clothes because the clothes go in your bare body. Same thing. Put on a shirt. Put on pants. You know what's nasty too? I'm sure people try on pants and then they wear underwear. Ew, I'm never buying clothes in the store again. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Victoria's Secret comes to an end, but it's gonna be nice because this is gonna be some diversity in the.
Let's see.
There's gonna be some diversity in the lingerie world.
No.
There's gonna be some diversity for sure.
I'm analytics, man. Let's look at the numbers.
Don't look at my topics again and say the podcast is over. Don't do that.
Let's see. They do quite a bit of business.
My brain hurts.
The funny part too is because this is owned by LVMH, right? Fenty is owned by LVMH.
Are they? I'm not sure.
Well, let's see. Yep. Oh, it's a joint venture. Yep. They own portions of it. So technically for some of this data, if not all of this data,
you had to look at LVMH.
We actually would be able to tell how much money Savage Fenty is making, which is beautiful because then that makes an easy comparison. Let me run a little quick analysis here.
It did make her a billionaire, right? The brand?
The brand is worth $1 billion, but what is their revenue though? Because worth and revenue is two different things. Because Tesla does not. Be in debt. Tesla is worth $1 trillion, and they don't pull in $1 trillion a year.
Also, what I learned in my career is that, like McDonald's, you could look at what they're worth, and their worth might be 50% real estate income. That's yes. And it's like, if McDonald's is making 50% of their income in real estate, then it's not good because they should be making most of their income in fast food.
Yeah, it's worth $1 billion based on funding that they launched.
So that's kind of not good then. Could not base $1 billion off sales.
Yeah, definitely not off sales. Lingerie. Absolutely not. Nobody, you don't even see enough people wearing it or buying that stuff.
And people want to understand that. They'll be like, wow, she made $1 billion off of this? No.
Yeah, see, Savage Fenty lingerie brand has been valued at $1 billion after raising $115 million in funding.
Wow. Series B funding.
Yeah. Well, we won't be able to find the revenue unless I went through the LVMH.
Are they public?
LVMH is very public.
No, I mean Savage Fenty.
It wouldn't need to be if it's owned by an LVMH.
Ooh, so but you would have to look at LVMH's books and figure out if they do a line item for Savage Fenty.
They would have to.
Yeah. Would that be considered a subsidiary? No.
No, I don't believe it is. I think it's just Yeah. Yeah. Well, we could tell VS did $11.8 billion last year.
Yikes. That's crazy.
Let me see what their value is.
Good for them.
It's not bad for selling undies.
They probably make money off of Pink too, and they sell sprays, soaps, all that type of stuff. They sell everything. Oh my God, ew.
That sounded disgusting.
Yeah.
Company reported net sales of $1 billion for the third quarter of 2021.
The third 3Q.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you said 11.1 for the whole year. I mean, the year. Well, the earnings are probably not out for 2021 yet, right? Because you see my job. I didn't even. The books are not out yet.
But yeah, they'd probably do most of their money in Q4 anyway, so.
Good Christmas?
Yeah. Which is most companies anyway, especially retailers.
They love probably 4Q.
Yeah, it looks like they doubled and tripled that number in Q4. Which isn't out yet, but.
Victoria's Secret is grounded. But I do think they got some competition now that they never had before, They were a monopoly for the longest. So I think, but like having like brick and mortar stores, like Rihanna having them, it's definitely gonna like make things interesting. You know, like seeing that in the mall, like going to the mall and seeing that store, like you might be like, let me go walk into there instead of Victoria's Secret. Because think about regular people who might not really even be privy to Rihanna or the brand. You know, they're not on social media. They might not be seeing the Instagram models wearing the stuff. You know, but they're in the mall and they're gonna walk past it and they're gonna see it. And that might be the first time they hear about it. You know, so that's definitely gonna change. It's definitely gonna increase their revenue, possibly. I think so. I really do. I just think Victoria's Secret is going to have some competition that they didn't really have before.
I feel like Rihanna just needs to make more, like, so much of the stuff is getting sold just off the name. I don't feel like there's enough, like, distinguishing things, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are, like, there's only so much you can go with that, because that's the reason why a lot of celebrity investment things, and this is not like a slight to her or anything like that, but there does need to be like more, because so many different celebrity ventures end up failing. And because, you know, everybody does these things where people have clothing brands and all this other stuff, and they don't launch because so much of their initial money and revenue that they're getting is just because of the name, of their name being attached to something. So to compete with VS, I don't even know what you would need to do.
Yeah, I don't know, because VS is literally such...
Because it's expensive, first of all.
It's like, and it's planted into society. People know I need a bra, I'm going to Victoria's Secret. That's usually like what people do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, I mean, like I said, I think people being able to actually physically see it is going to increase the revenue. But for long term, we're going to have to see.
I trust LVMH. I mean, they've done amazing things. Mm-hmm. So,
and we can't really speak on her stuff yet. We haven't had it. Like, I haven't brought in her stuff for you to check out. So.
No, I'm not saying the quality or anything like that. It's just more so like, I feel like it's just tough to really, because it's the same reason why Kanye's clothing has never really sold like that. Aside from the price itself, it's just like, I think people have some sort of like, I don't know what the word is.
Like expectation?
Hesitancy to purchase like a famous person's clothing. I think Skims is like the only thing that's been able to really give people a run for its money. Because
she was able to prove that her quality is really different. Like people said,
that's what I mean. Like
soft and like buttery. Like.
She has to come up with something that's so distinguishable from VS that it makes people not even question going to
For
Fenty.
me, it has to be cheaper, and the quality has to be better though somehow. And I don't know, Victoria's Secret stuff. A lot of their quality is kind of hyped up. A lot of stuff really is not great over quality. They just have the advantage of the name.
We'll see.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I do think the physical stores will make a difference.
She does rely a lot on the influencer advertising too, which
and the average 40, 50-year-old is not seeing those influencers, you know? So they see those physical stores, and that might be the first time they ever hear about it. You know?
Because to me, the success of her store would to me point to the success of a potential Fashion Nova store.
And the thing is, like, yeah, I see what you mean. And the thing is, so a lot of these like online stores have found success with physical stores. Like, you know, Morphe for the longest was just online. Like when I first discovered Morphe, it was just online, and you see they're in every mall now.
It's so questionable. Like I don't know. I would have to really. I don't know. I'm not doing an investment analyst deep dive on this, but it is something to think about with the operating costs that it takes to open a brick and mortar versus just having an online store. Like I think the Real, for example, they probably get hit really hard with having physical stores existing, because that's a lot, especially a lot of that real estate being in New York. It's probably really tough to it's probably really tough to make money. Yeah. Versus just having a warehouse where people simply order from and then they just ship it out, because they have one in Arizona and they have one in Jersey. And imagine they didn't have any brick and mortar, because they have physical stores right down the street from us. I never go. And I just ordered online. If I don't like it, just send it back. But we'll see.
Yep. They said 5, starting with 5 in 2022. Vegas, LA, Houston, Philly, and DC. I'm surprised New York's not on here. I would have thought maybe New York to replace Philly and Miami to replace like Houston.
These are just tests.
Or Vegas. Yeah, but
These
come on,
make sense.
how you not have New York? Like
That's
Houston,
expensive.
okay, Houston. Oh yeah, you're right.
New York is dumb expensive.
But at least Jersey, like they could have put it in like American Dream. Put it in American Dream.
It's dumb expensive. American Dream rent is probably crazy.
Yeah, but you see, didn't they say it's still like what 80% full right now?
Yeah, everybody went bankrupt because they couldn't afford it.
Oh wait, look, why does it say that she had a store in New York?
Probably pop up.
Yeah, pop up. Definitely a pop up. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be very interesting. Obviously, she's doing these 5 stores now to see like what's gonna look like. I wonder this is how it's gonna look. This additional. That'd be a cool design. But yeah, we'll see. We shall see. All right, we're gonna do these next quick topics before we get to the last main one. But Taco Bell has wings.
I'm not talking about this.
Are we eating them?
No.
All right. No, but don't you feel like it's kind of crazy? Everybody's like talking about how they're not eating them, but I'm like, you guys eat every bad thing in the world, but Taco Bell wings is where you draw the line. You guys smoke every day, but Taco Bell wings is where you draw the line. You guys smoke hookah every weekend. Taco Bell wings is where you draw the line. I just don't get it. Like everybody always supposed to act like they're fake healthy. I'm not eating those wings. You guys are crazy.
And then they make same company that owns Pizza Hut, owns Taco
literally.
Bell, and Pizza Hut makes wings.
Like you eat burgers from McDonald's, but you don't trust wings from Taco Bell. I don't get it. It's still chicken. Chicken is very cheap. Like you go to the store and buy a whole pack of chicken for like $4. Chicken is cheap. So I don't get it. Like I know some people are joking, but some people are not joking. They're like, you guys are crazy. I'm like, what? People eat so bad, but then Taco Bell wings is where they draw the line. So that's why I wrote it down, because I just think people are funny. Like the humans are very funny when you really like let them talk. They funny. And it's like, hey, you're not eating Taco Bell wings, but you eat bad all week. Like you treat yourself horrible all the time, but Taco Bell wings is where you draw the line. Like wings aren't cheap. You shouldn't have, like, if that's the case, you shouldn't have been eating Taco Bell in the first place. Like, I just don't get it. Okay. How do you feel about Antonio Brown saying that he had broken bone fragments in his ankles and that he quit, but they made it seem like that he was fired?
Good for him.
No, but like, isn't it crazy though how they kind of lied about that? And like how everybody reacted, right? Everybody was like, Antonio Brown's a diva. Like they were basically like clowning him and like talking about him crazy. But then once that came out, it was like, good for him. Like people in sports and celebrities need to stick up for themselves and their mental health and physical health more often. But I'm like, you guys were just clowning him though, without even knowing the story, thinking that he's crazy, because everybody is crazy. Like he's crazy, but you curse out like 5 people last week, but he's crazy because he's famous. But you curse out your boss, but you're not crazy. You're normal. You know, I just hate that. Like we talked about this before, like how Kanye is crazy because he just
stop bringing up Kanye, please.
No, but Kanye's the best example. As someone who everybody thinks is crazy. No. Antonio Brown is crazy. He's so crazy. He took a shirt off and ran off the field. I'm like, but you literally had to tantrum at work and quit on the spot and threw your shirt on, threw your little
But
apron.
they only thought that because of his past behavior.
Yeah, I know. But even his past behavior could all be linked to him just being a human being. Everybody else is so concerned with keeping up this image, but sometimes you have bad days, you know?
Sometimes you're not allowed to have bad days in certain professions. And
that's stupid. You should be allowed to be human. That's how people end up going crazy and exploding.
Chris Rock has a joke about that. He's like, there's certain positions where you're just not allowed to be. You're not allowed to have a bad day. Like, you never want your pilot to have a bad day.
Yeah. Okay.
Or your doctor to have a bad day.
I see what you mean. But yeah, but as an athlete, you should be allowed to have a bad day because you're an athlete. A pilot, okay, yeah, you got to be more mentally strong. Or if you're having a bad day, just call off and get a backup pilot. So I don't know. I just feel like it's so crazy how they kind of lied on him. And I mean, that's why I think this is a good case. So let the story come out before you speak on it. Everybody was so quick to react and didn't know what happened.
Everything is reaction. Everybody wants to have the first tweet off to be able to get retweets because that's how you're more likely to get retweets. It's kind of like how the music reaction thing works on YouTube.
Yeah.
The first one to post a reaction to something that just came out is the one that gets the most views. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
People just want to jump.
Everybody wanted to get that CTE tweet off, and people got their tweets. People got the engagement they wanted. But then I was, oh wow, he had a broken ankle. I understand. Put your physical health first. Support Black men. But okay, I don't know. People are just hypocrites. That's why I don't speak on stuff a lot of times when it first happens. I wait. I really do wait. Usually. So yeah, that's more of the story. Wait till the story comes out before you speak on things, because you guys really be sounding crazy, flip flopping all the time. That's why my first tweet when that stuff came out, I was like, he's a human, so I don't care. But like, I don't care. He's a human. So, all right, 2 more topics. So since we are a podcast, I'm going to talk about the Fresh and Fit podcast. I want to talk quickly about the comments that they made. I don't really care about all that stuff, like, or whatever, the Asian doll, the fighting, whatever. But I just want to talk specifically about the comments they made about dating Black women. And, you're a Black man who dates a Black woman. So it's like...
I'm not jumping in this conversation.
No. Let me hear me out. Like, do you think there's something wrong with, like, men that say those things? I know you could have a preference, but do you feel like there's, like... Could you see how they look? Both of them look, like, ugly. Like, that weird looking. They're both, like... misfits looking, like you could tell rejects in society. And you feel like there's a lot of like similarities with the people that get that off about how much they hate Black women. Like you notice it's like a certain pattern in the ones that like to clown on Black women, especially a Black man. No, I'm saying that you ever notice a pattern? Because like you're a Black man.
I don't know. I don't see these things. So
in real life. No, but I'm saying online. Like
I don't see these things online either.
But do you see you saw how they look though? The two guys.
No, I actually didn't pay attention.
Let me just show you real quick. And then,
I'm of the belief, like, I don't care. Like, it's one of those things, like, you give...
No, but we just talking about we're a podcast. That's
I know that, but there's certain things that you give attention to, and there's certain things that you don't. If you don't like something, then don't say anything. Because the only reason this became a thing is because people were posting it, reposting it, now they're getting all types of views.
Look at this man. And he said, "I'm good on Black girls."
They get all these types of views, and that's the whole point of them doing this. So I don't engage in it. There's no conversation to be had,
and they got what they wanted. But I'm saying, I still don't think what they're saying was them making it up though. You could tell they probably still don't mess with Black women.
All right, cool, then cool.
This man said he don't mess with Black women. Look at him, yo.
And my response is not because I agree with what they're saying. It's just because it's like.
Yeah, but that's why I just wanted to open up another conversation. But besides them, about this whole clowning on Black women that a lot of Black men do. And the other guy, I don't think he's Black. He looks like he's like Indian or like somewhere from the Middle East. He's definitely Middle Eastern. So I just want to know: is there a thing? Do you feel like with Black men, like they have like this thing? Like, you think they were they hurt by Black women, you think? Or you think they're just insecure in themselves and they hate being Black, so they project that onto Black women because they don't want their kids to be mixed? Like, what do you think it is? Do you think it's mostly they got hurt by one?
I don't know what they think.
Or do you think it's self-hate?
I don't know.
Because it's like, it's not the whole, like even the whole preference of liking somebody for race, I think is stupid. But there's this beyond a preference. It's like they add insults. Like, oh, they're annoying. They're ugly. They're dark. I'm not a night rider. What? It's just whack to me. So it's like, where is that coming from? Like, for me, I think it's a mixture of self-hate and rejection. I think it's a combination of both. Because a lot of times the guys that say that are like bottom tier Black men. They look like roaches. I'm not saying that because they're Black. They're just not attractive people. And then I feel like on top of that, like, since they kind of aren't the most attractive people, they hate themselves for that, and then they got rejected also on top of that. So it creates a recipe for disaster where they project that onto Black women, and then Black women are the ugly ones in their eyes. And it's like, ew. And then you see the women that they go for in other races, and they're not cute most of the time, unless they get money, then they're able to pull the cuties. But they don't got the money, they get like the bottom tier women. So I don't know, just as a man perspective, and as a Black man, like, cause you like Black women, but you gotten hurt by Black women before too, right? But that didn't change your. Yes, you did. You told me that one girl. Oh, she wasn't Black. The one girl. Okay, but as a black man who likes black women, I want your perspective on that.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not one of them, so I can't give you a perspective on something I don't agree
know,
with.
but I'm wondering, what do you think it is?
I could think a million different things. I could give you every perspective, and it could be any one of them. So I don't know.
So
I don't
what's
know how
one
to
of
answer
them?
these questions. I think that they might think that, just like anything. I know white boys that think that white girls are annoying, and they don't date white girls. So I think it could be something similar.
But how could a race be annoying?
Because there are commonalities. Like, bias exists for a reason. Bias is for the most part true. Like, those things exist for a reason. So
Because it's cultural.
Yeah, so if the common thing is that black women are loud and whatever, which is more often than not pretty much more or less, if you could think about a lot of the examples that people can go off of, because I'm not going to open my mouth and say that that's true, but a lot of the examples that people go off of, there's a lot of like those things in terms of culture. And I know that they like ignore a lot of examples where that's not the case, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I know.
one example is like any of the dolls, or like
Yeah. City girls.
the city girl, or like whoever we have, like the B. Simones of the world, or all loud and period and all that other stuff. If that's the turn off and that's what you're seeing, then I may understand that just as similar as I've had white friends that don't like white girls, and it's about them being like a certain way, like preppy, or like being too much of an airhead, or like not being culture, like cool, or not having whatever it is. Like, I've seen it be on both spectrums from different races of like Spanish guys don't like Spanish women, or
But do you feel like it's weird because you are also that race? So it's like, how could you as a black man say that? Like, if a man from another race says that, it's like, okay, sure, whatever. But you're a black man yourself, and you're raised by a black woman. You came out of a black woman, and you're gonna fix your mouth to say that you don't like black women when a black woman brought you into this earth. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know? And you could have your preferences, but like I said, then don't do the insulting though. Like, oh, they're all annoying, they're all ugly, they're ratchet. Like, just, you could give your reasonings. And even I still feel like the reasonings can't really make sense, because I feel like even besides culturally, there's black women who act white all around. How they dress, how they act, how they talk, how they eat, all that might be white, what we consider white, quote unquote. So I don't know. There are a lot of quiet black girls. A lot of black girls that like anime. You know, there's no clear distinction on who you are as a black person. So I still feel like having a preference based off of race is kind of crazy. But I get what you mean, though. There's still our cultural commonalities. That's where stereotypes come from in the first place. But I just feel like being of the same race as the woman that you're criticizing is kind of sick.
I disagree with that, actually. I think that you being a part of something doesn't mean that they're
But do you think that's like a thing too, though? Like, since, like, obviously, which sucks, but traditionally a lot of our families are broken and it's just the mothers. A lot of times those kids are, all they know is black women, their aunts, their grandmas, their moms, and it's like lots of times it might just be like what they know from them, like loud, angry, negative. So that's what they perceive as all black women being like. You think that's a fair like judgment on some of them? Obviously lots of people, they say their moms are like their first bullies, so like they just have like a animosity towards black women.
Everybody's feeling is gonna come from what they've seen. So
yeah,
I'm not defending anything that they said. It's more so like I don't know what they're thinking. I don't particularly care. Like, whatever their feeling is, it doesn't matter. I don't know why we're giving validation to the thoughts of people that don't really matter.
I'm not talking about those people in the podcast. I just wanted to start a conversation about that based off what they, that just for me was a conversation starter. Like, I'm not even talking about that.
I've heard black women say the same thing about black men. I don't think that,
But you'd agree it's not as common. Black women are always the ones that come to black men's defense all the time. Like, all these Black Lives Matter stuff, black women are like the ringleaders of all these movements, of all these things. When it comes to protecting black men,
even within
that, it never seems like it's the other way around.
That's not even, well, I don't agree with that, but I also don't even think that means anything, because that's one of those things where it's like, if you it's like, okay, you're defending people for this one specific reason, but the whole time before that, you're tearing them down, saying how.
Yeah, and I agree. Obviously, black women are really bad with that, tearing down stuff on social media. So I get it.
I'm not defending anything. Honestly, I don't particularly care. This is one of those topics where it's like, I don't feel that way. I don't care what other people's feelings are about that.
I know, but I just it's just a good brain picker to see like what you think is the root of it. That's all.
Could be anything. I don't know though.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting because it's like I feel like this. I mean, you had to ask. That's the thing. You had to ask the people why. But that's the thing. Last time you asked why, they never really give a valid answer. So that's the funny part. Like you'd be like, well, why don't you like black women? And it's never a valid answer. You know.
Valid in what sense?
Like you'd be like, oh, why don't you like black women? They're ratchet. It's like, for me, that's not a valid answer.
It's a valid answer.
Yeah, but all races are ratchet. Just like I saw this tweet. I mean, I saw this TikTok of like, there's like a sound on TikTok where it's like these girls saying like, hey, it's my best friend's birthday. And like people use the sound for various reasons. They'll be like when you're on a business trip to Miami and there's a group of girls on the plane coming and like it's that sound. So the one girl made one, it's like when you're on South Beach eating like a nice fancy dinner and you hear that, hey, like, and you just look around like stank. And then, it was a Hispanic girl who said, that's a big part of Miami. And there was a whole bunch of Hispanic people in the comments that all were like, oh yeah, all they can afford is Miami. Like, you know who they mean by they. They're talking about us. So it's like, but everybody, all the black people were like, wait, I know Hispanics are not in the comments talking about we loud. Because like they are really loud too. Like they have loud, they play loud music. And it doesn't bother me, but it's like, how are you going to talk black people are loud and ratchet when your race is known for parties? Like you guys are loud too. Like, but it's just we have the stereotype that we're the loud ones. It's like, wait, hold up. Because you guys are loud too and have your cookouts and blast music. Like, everybody who's from New York was like, hold up, I live in New York. Don't act like we the loud ones. Like, you guys are loud too. So I just hate that whole like, oh, why don't you date black girls? Oh, because they're ratchet. It's like, well, every race could have their ratchet girls. If you really look at it, there's like this, there's a whole set of white women that act like they're from the hood and like have that, old Vicky. Like, they're ratchet too. So why is it just that we're ratchet? And you have to agree, yeah, the stereotypes come for a reason, but you also have to agree that the media also plays a part in it. So we think that really is how all black women are. But I feel like if we met every black woman in this planet and compared them to other races, that there's probably equal parts of, maybe not equal, but there's probably is like a lot of major outlier numbers of the stereotype. And just like saying that a black woman is ratchet and that's why you don't date her is not valid, because I'm not ratchet, and I know plenty of black women just like me. I know plenty. Like all my friends I grew up with, none of us are ratchet. I mean, one of them was, but none of us are ratchet.
Where you grew up matters.
Okay, shoot, we do grow up in.
If you grow up in an area, obviously all the people around you are gonna be that way.
But we've been friends with people from cities that weren't ratchet, in my opinion.
Ooh. People
that we went at school. I don't really think a lot of them were ratchet that we were. Not like all of them. But I mean, everybody that we were friends with, at least. I don't think our friend group wasn't. We didn't have a single ratchet soul in our like actual core friend group, in my opinion.
Because you don't like anybody else.
Yeah, well, that's probably why.
That's exactly what they were saying.
Yeah, true. That is not true. You think about who I attracted. How come all my friends was like suburban black kids? And we had a city girl too, but you
have no hood friends.
Alex is from the suburb. Adrian was from the suburb. Like all my people that I was friends with all. That makes sense of why you attracted them, though, because they kind of just like you. Okay, I see what you mean. But look, we still had a core group of all of us who were ratchet.
Don't say like I'm pointing this out. I'm just saying like I don't particularly care.
But think about the black girls at Montclair. It was half and half. We had that ratchet, but then we had the people like me and like my friend group. So it's like.
But even that's college. Like
I don't know. I still just think they never have a valid answer of why they don't want to date a girl of a certain color. There's never a valid reason. But the thing is, this is the argument. You meet a Spanish girl, and she, spicy Latina. I love when my Spanish girlfriend's mad. It's so cute when she curses me out in Spanish. But then there'll be a black woman who's the exact same. And it's like, ooh, she's loud and scary. But when there's a Spanish girl, it's like, ooh, that's so cute. It turns me on. She's fiery. No, but see, you see it, though. You see it.
I don't see it.
They think it's cute. Black guys love that. They think it's cute, but if a black woman does it, she's ratchet. Like, what? It's the same exact personality, but it's on a different skin tone. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you think?
What you want from me? I can't speak. I only can speak from a perspective that I actually have in myself. Like I can't put myself in their shoes. I don't know why they like all I could do is throw out assumptions and try to make an argument for entertainment purposes. But I don't believe in that, and I don't know how to. I don't know. I got nothing really, honestly. You know, it's what it is. You give people a platform, and they're gonna do what they do best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, honestly, legitimately don't have anything.
I'm just mad. I'm honestly like, besides that, the other points, I am mad that these people got this attention because this is what they wanted. That's why he put the clip out of him arguing with Asian doll. Like, this is the reaction he wanted. They probably didn't think it was gonna be this big. You had people like obviously Joe Budden that spoke about it, and you saw the podcast clip that popped up. Like, he's probably had a whole segment on it on his podcast too, like talking about it. So I'm sure all the podcasters this week talked about it.
That's what I'm saying. Who cares? Like, who cares what their opinion was? Why are we spreading these people's words? I know people want to have a larger conversation, but if you look at even statistically, that's not even remotely close to the general thought and consensus of how black men feel. Yeah. So I don't know why we're highlighting such a minuscule amount of amount of men that feel a certain way about black women when black men statistically marry black women like highly. Like there's no.
That's why I remember that was like the thing. They were like, black love does exist. Like, can people be so surprised when they see it, especially like among celebrities? It's
like that's just a misconception. So I don't know why we're highlighting this one random person or two random people on a podcast that really doesn't matter what they're saying. So it's not even worth
giving them.
It's not even worth having the conversation when it's not even the reality. So that's why I didn't even want to really participate in it, because you don't give clowns attention, because this is the whole point. If nobody retweeted it, reposted it, or anything, then it would have gone nowhere, and nobody would have cared, and there wouldn't be this conversation even happening. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what their opinion is. I have my opinion. It shouldn't even be a discussion, because most black men don't feel that way. Even in entertainment and rap and all these different places.
Entertainment is not even that many. It's just we only highlight it.
Like, all of the rappers are either married. Like 2 Chainz is married with black
LeBron.
women with black kids, and all of these most of these men are like that.
What's that guy? Chanel Iman, right? Or Chanel something, like Shepherd. What's that guy?
Chanel Sterling Shepherd.
So, yeah. Like, I mean, even though they're divorcing, but there's so many. Like,
there's more than not, and there's always
Beyonce and Jay-Z obviously are the biggest ones. But like you said, it's really only that highlight of like the small amount. Which the small amount is kind of a problem too. But just let them do them. Like, there is a problem within them, and that should be discussed within the black community. But at least they're not the majority that we act like it is.
Or there's not a problem with it, and people just prefer who they prefer, because Serena Williams is not married to a black man.
Yeah, and nobody says anything about that. If anything, she gets praised, and it's always a little jokes like, "Oh, I want me a little white man." It's like, it's almost like they like romanticize like white men, like, But that's a small segment too,
Yeah. So I just didn't even think it was worth the argument, because obviously what he's saying is invalid. Yeah. So no point in debating idiocy.
Yeah. And that's why, like I was saying too, like I wasn't really trying to like really talk about them. I was more so wanting to bring up like the conversation of just black men and that like trash black women's.
It could be anything. It's just like the same thing as any argument. I hate to be the person that deflects, but like the same way a black man might not like black women because he grew up around black women and he feels a certain way. It could be the same thing that black man, absent father to a black woman, she might hate women. I mean, she might hate men.
Yeah, because her mom hated men.
It could be anything. So it's all situational. So that's why I didn't want to say what I think it might be, because it could be a million different things. Yeah. It could be self-hatred. It could be a ton of different things.
There's so many variables.
Pointing out these two.
Yeah, that'll be a whole episode.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, I'm not these two clowns. I don't know these people.
And that's why sometimes these topics are like would kind of have to be one episode focused topics, because they're so deep, and you have to kind of break them down onto like every level.
And there's always going to be people like this from any race that don't feel the way they feel about their own race.
Yeah. It's just that since blackness has been, historically hated, and to this day historically discriminated against, hated by everybody. Every race hates us and has slurs about us. It's like so crazy to me. But I think that's what makes it worse, because we're already so hated as a society. So when that hate comes from within, it's like a extra burn. It's like, dang, all we really got is each other at the end of the day. Nobody like us. It's us against everybody. So we should all come together. But we have so much problems within ourselves. And the crazy thing is, all the problems within ourselves are rooted back to white supremacy, though. Literally, all of them. Colorism was rooted back to like white supremacy, because the separation of light skin, dark skin. They made us hate each other. And we fell for it. And we still falling for it to this day. I'm like, how are we letting them win? Like, why are there still light skin, dark skin conversations happening? Why? We're all brown. We're all black. We're all brown. We're all a shade of brown. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But at least the conversations are being had, and people are being called out all across social media. So I'd rather the conversation be happening than not happening, because lots of times they are kind of developmental. Yeah. All right, well, one last topic, then we can shut up, because really, this is a long one. No, actually, this is a topic I wanted to talk about. I talked about it last week. So, last topic. Who's the mayor of New York again? Eric?
I don't know.
You work there.
I don't know.
What's his name, Eric?
I don't know. It doesn't impact me.
It doesn't impact you. You work in New York, and New York is right there. We can see it. There's the edge.
How does it impact
There's
me?
The edge. It doesn't impact people. So Eric said something in a press conference. He called low skill workers. He called them low skill.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I want to talk about this. This is the last thing. You
got this on your own.
No, baby. This is the last thing.
I'm not speaking.
I'm not gonna go crazy on this, because
Yeah,
I already talked enough about it. But he called them low skill workers, and everybody got mad. Like, he said something about, we got to get the low skill workers back to work. Everybody got mad because he called them low skill. They're like, how is it? And I kind of get this point. They're like, how do we go from it being essential workers to low skill workers? But I'm like, one person called them low skill workers. Now they act like everybody changed the verbiage, right? Like, one person said that. But so I saw this tweet, right, last week, and it said, people who call fast food or retail workers low skill would absolutely die if they had to work a single Saturday night third shift at Waffle House. This tweet currently has 252,000 likes, 1,637 quote tweets, and 29.3K retweets. So, like I said, he said that we call these people low skill, but we would die if we worked third night shift at Waffle House. First, let me say this. Do people not realize that most of us people who work these like jobs that we work now, these office jobs, these what they really call office desk jobs, these more high paying jobs, do you guys not realize that we once worked in retail or fast food? Like, we worked both spectrums. Like, that's the thing I think that people don't understand. They want to really like act like they want to make it sound like it's like a fast food worker versus an office worker. Like, office worker people haven't started there, right? We all had to start somewhere. I know there's some people who didn't work. Mom and dad paid the bills forever. They didn't had to work a job. Me, my parents were annoying. I had two sisters. They were annoying when it came to buying stuff. So I was like, I'm getting a job. I got a job when I was 15. And I worked at ShopRite. I was a cashier. And I wanted a job so I could buy myself all the clothes I wanted without having to wait for a new school year for the clothes. And I wanted to buy makeup. So that's why I got a job. And I was 15, like I said. So I'm 25 now. That's 10 years. I graduated college in 2018. So I last worked a regular job. 2018 was 4 years ago. So do the math. If I'm 25 and I started working when I was 15, that's 10 years. And I graduated college 4 years ago. I've only been working in the industry 3-4 years. The other half of that, from 15 to 20, 21, I worked like a retail job, fast food job. So I worked, like I said, cashier. And I did computer lab assistant. We both did that in college, me and Alex. So we seen both sides. And I still say it's low skill. Alex literally did McDonald's. People always brought McDonald's up. Oh, this McDonald's looks like a submarine. Like, you guys wouldn't understand the buttons, the beeping. A job being like kind of overwhelming and hard doesn't mean it's skillful. Like, what skills do you need at McDonald's? or a ShopRite, how are you comparing that to being a lawyer, to being an accountant, a high skilled job that people had to go to school for years to do? I went to school for accounting for 5 years and I still don't know what I'm doing half the time I work. I'm like, what? What does this mean? Like, but when I was at ShopRite, it took me 8 hours to learn my job. 2 4-hour shifts. I learned my job. I'm still learning my job now, and I've been at my job for almost 3 years. So I just want to talk about that. Because you worked at McDonald's, you worked retail. You literally did both. You did Macy's, you did Lowe's, you did McDonald's. I only did ShopRite because I'm literally loyal to a job. I'm loyal to a job. I only ever had 4 jobs, and all of them were long term. And 2 of them, I didn't even quit. Like, I never quit a job ever in my life. Like, I'm loyal to a company. And I had to leave ShopRite because I graduated, so they knew I was leaving. I had to leave my job at school because they knew I was graduating. But yeah, since you, like, we can make this quick, but since you had, like, that experience working those jobs, tell the people, was it high skills? Say it in the mic for the listeners.
No.
Like, he was talking about we want to survive a late night third shift. It being like draining mentally and physically. How's that equal to being a high skill job? Who's saying that we don't appreciate what they do? Who's saying that they're not important to society? Who's saying that sometimes the people don't put hard work in? But it being hard work doesn't make it a high skill job. Like, can people say, "Oh, it's a skill to be a waitress"? It's a skill to hold plates and a drink, right? Like, you comparing that to me creating a cash flow statement at a company to you holding a plate is comparable. A skill is the ability to do something well. Expertise. So yeah, you can still do your job well, but it's still a skill, but it's low skill. It's still a low skill job. And like, anybody could do their job well. That's still a low skill. That's kind of the basic thing. But for something to be high skilled means that you have to put in a certain amount of work, time, and energy and knowledge for it to be high skill, you know? And Alex was telling me the other day, like, we were talking, and he said, like, at McDonald's, people made it sound like that it's so complicated, but there's somebody on different stations, right? Like, somebody was doing the fries, somebody was doing the burgers, and then he said they're not actually flipping them. Like, people like to say, you just put a machine down, like the George Foreman grills. Like, somebody's doing drinks in the drive-thru, somebody's at the front collecting money, right? Like, everybody has a different role. But people on the internet was making it sound like that one person was running around doing all that. Occupation that require college or high skill level of education are high skilled. So I'm sorry, but when I was 15, like, the fact that I was 15 years old doing the same job as some 40, 50-year-olds, you think that makes me high skilled? I was 15. I had, at that point, half of a sophomore year of high school education level. Like, I wasn't high skilled. I was like, it's a low skill job. And I don't see what's wrong with that. Like I said, the job could take definitely some time and effort. Definitely, it could be exhausting. Definitely could be annoying dealing with people. I get it. I did customer service for 5, 6 years. And definitely could be stressful, but it's not a high skill job. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a low skill job. Like, how do people feel like isn't that crazy to you that people feel like they didn't have to do no extra work in life, but they get that level of, like, and not even respect, but that level of, like, title that their job is a high skill, right? Like, don't you feel like it's just people trying to make themselves feel better about their jobs? Is that what you think it is? Like, people wanting to act like their job is not low skilled? Like, what do you think it is? Like, what's this? Why are they so offended by the fact that their jobs are low skilled and that people are calling them that? Why do you think?
Because they don't know what that means.
No, but people know what that means. No, but I think people
don't know what that means.
I think people equate.
That's why.
I think they equate us calling it low skills to us saying that's not important, or that is easy. You know, but like, it still is easy, if that makes sense. But it can be hard, situationally. You know, like, if there are a lot of people it can be annoying and frustrating and hard, you know?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Because life goes on. Like, I'm not shaking from me working an overnight shift at McDonald's, like, however many years ago. Like, life goes on. Like, it's not.
But even like this person, he's a food service workers that have more skill in their left pinky than these idiots. But a skill how? Like, they're not even explaining what the skill is.
But
Look, somebody said that I work in a restaurant industry. It can be hard. It can be fast paced, demanding, but it's not high skill work. Waffle House is not high skill work. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. It's like, exactly. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, people don't like. I just feel like everybody's so annoying. And then there's one person had the nerve, like, this is the person I responded to, saying how workers you won't notice if they're not around. Lawyers, politicians, accountants, workers that society cannot live without. And he's put cannot in caps. Cleaners, fast food workers, retail workers, grocery shelf stockers, truck drivers. So the world can't live without accountants, is what he's trying to say. My job. All right, let's see. I'm telling you, if accountants dropped dead tonight, all of us, if we all were gone and accounting as an industry got blown out, did people not realize how much our entire world, and most especially America, is run on economics? The way your little fast food checks get paid is from accountants. The accountants are doing that. That's how you're getting paid. This world runs on economy, and you're telling me that the world doesn't, that if accountants were to disappear, that nobody would notice? You would notice. You just, because you don't know what we do. That's why you don't notice. You don't know what we do. You use TurboTax to do your taxes. There's CPAs behind that. There's CPAs behind running that technology that are on the IT side of it. People don't realize accounting is vast too. There's literally accounting, like there's so many tiers to it. Like, people just think it's us looking at numbers and crunching numbers, like it's a business thing. But the world is business. You work for a business. Everything is business. Lawyers, you need your lawyers. You need your politicians. You need your doctors. Like, what are people talking about? Like, they want to seem like they're so important to society so bad. And like, yeah, you are. Your jobs are important, but it's still a low skill job. Nobody's saying that's not important. Nobody's saying it can't be hard some days, but it's low skill. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to get a skill, you don't even have to go to school for it. Go get a certification somewhere. Go to trade school maybe if you want to go to school route. Go online and do courses that you could get. You could get online certifications easily, right, on certain sites. Go learn coding and gain some skills, and then you'll see the pay difference. You'll see that. But the fact that you just can't accept the fact that your job is low skill is bizarre to me. Like, these replies underneath literally is the reason why you guys are low skill, because you guys are slow. Like, I can't. And the fact that people really act like it's like a race thing. Like, they're a whole different race of people. Like, us people who have these jobs weren't working these low skill jobs before. We were. Like, we're not aliens. We saw the pay we was getting there, and that's what motivated me to go to school, to become higher skilled so I could get paid more. So why am I still sitting at ShopRite complaining about being a low skill work being paid a little bit? That's why I'm out there complaining about it, because I moved on. I acquired skill so I can get paid more. It's just all part of the game. So it's annoying. I just get annoyed easily. And like I said, for me, I just feel like, cause especially you definitely have more of that experience that they're talking about. Everybody brings up food workers. You literally worked in the epitome of like the jobs that people defend. Like, you worked at McDonald's. Like, that's literally the job, you know? And you've seen it for yourself. And you would never compare that to what you do now, right? Like, the skill that's required now is a lot more higher than it was to say, hi, welcome to McDonald's. Okay, Coke, fries. They're going to compare that to what you do, right? Like, isn't that like a slap in the face? They try to say that the world will be fine without us. That's what he was trying to say, babe. He said the world would not notice if our jobs disappeared.
Okay.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Not even that. It's just like, okay. I don't care. You know.
And then you go to the profiles of these people and you see like, oh, this is why you do what you do. Rocks for brains, for brain cells. Rocks up there. But yeah, people just want to be offended so easily. That's all. No, I'm saying people just want to be offended, and that's just their problem.
You good?
Yeah, I'm just annoyed again, all over again.
Thank
I
you
know
guys
that it's
for
getting late,
listening.
but I wanted you to really engage in that conversation. I know it's getting
Wow.
late, and you want to, because the thing is, it's a funny, good conversation. Like we've been talking for like 20 minutes now, but I just thought it was a good conversation. I feel you kind of like disengaged because it's late, and we've been talking for long. It's probably our longest podcast ever. Yeah. But yeah. I just wanted you to pay your
I don't have any 2 cents.
I know. I just want you because you can speak on it more so than me. Like I worked at Shopper as a cashier, like, but you were in the food industry.
There's just not like a lot of in depth. No, I don't personally find it to be hard. I said life goes on. Like if there's 100 people in a McDonald's line, you're gonna wake up tomorrow. Like it's gonna be okay. So I never.
No, but that has nothing to do with it being a low skill job or a high school job. They're trying to say that their job is not low skill because that we wouldn't be able to survive doing a late night shift.
Yeah, I've done it
because it's hard. They're saying because it's hard, and they think that they just feel like they deserve it. They deserve for their job to be called high skilled because they're working those late night shifts and working triple shifts. I'm like, excuse me, I'm working in busy season and I worked like 40, 50-hour weeks.
Third shift doesn't mean triple shift. Third shift means.
No, I was saying like third. Not to say. I was just saying as like a comma, not like in conjunction. Like third shift, triple shifts, whatever. Like they act like accountants don't work 60-hour busy seasons for months on end. My brain be ready to blow up, but your legs hurt, so your job is harder than mine. Cause your arms and legs hurt from working 12 hours. But my brain's about to explode, and I mess up. The company might fall apart. A 4,500 company might fall apart if I mess up. But if you mess up, you might have an angry customer. But your job is more skilled than mine. I worked ShopRite during Christmas and Thanksgiving. The lines were crazy, but I would never compare that to me being an accountant. That's why, like, you gotta talk. These conversations need to be with people who've seen both sides. Like, it's always one-sided. It's always the people that either are fast food or the people who never worked these fast food jobs or whatever and just worked in their careers. There's never the people who've done both. And that's who needs to be talking. The people who've seen both sides. Because these ignorant people who work these old school jobs never in a day could survive. They're talking about, well, we can't survive. I can survive that. I'll adapt. But you can't survive just doing my job in a day. That took me 3 years to learn. Like, ugh. But like you said, you said this before, and we can end it here. Even though that's still a lot, 250,000 people, that's a 250,000 people that would like that tweet. That's still only a small segment of people. And there's not everybody that feels that way. Because you saw that one guy even said, nigga, I worked at Waffle House. I get it. But it's still low skill. Like, okay, there's people with brains out there. So, everybody just wants to be offended nowadays. Everybody wants to sound like they're so important and so smart in society, and it really are nobodies at the end of the day. Even me, we're all nobodies, and everybody wants to be somebody and sound crazy and sound heavy. But that's why I need to take a break from social media. But I need to stay in tune for this podcast too. So I'm in a rock and a hard place. But yeah, so we wrap up this podcast. It's late.
Thank you guys for listening, tuning in, watching, whatever your preferred platform is. This has been the A Couple of Things podcast, where we talked about a couple of things. I'm Alex, and I'm alongside my coworker, colleague, Mal, and
your girlfriend.
And we are going to sign out for tonight.
Your girlfriend, Mal. Say that too.
Thank you as always.
Add that part too.
We will see you guys next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever we decide to record it, because we don't have a schedule.
We're going to get a schedule. 2022, the year starts this week now.
I'm sure no one has ever tuned into the entirety of the pod, but if you've made it here for whatever reason, we definitely appreciate that. And yes, have a great evening or day or whenever you're listening to this. We appreciate you. And yeah.
Look at my legs.
Take care. Have a good one.
Why are you talking like that?
Yeah.
Ew, Alex, you better cut that out. I swear to God. Stop. Yeah, now you go hear this back and hear how creepy you sound.
Yeah.